8-7.
8-7. That's
What
8-7
was that? Jesus Christ.
It's weird that Whoopi Goldberg actually came out and gave you a Kids' Choice Award right after you said that.
we edited it out, actually. Stu took care of that. It wasn't the feed, though, but
Stu actually messaged me, Stu from the Skill Up channel this week in video games. He messaged me and he said, I was about to message you about the level of disrespect I was feeling. So first of all, a terrifying message to just get the preview off. Okay. A level of disrespect I was feeling about some comments you made about me. And then I looked again and And then he put the screenshot of Slade from Highguard, the blonde character, like the Leon S. Kennedy hair. And he went, unfortunately, that is 100% me.
Yeah, this is what Lucy put into our Discord. She's like, "Why is Stu in this game?" Right? And I was like, "I'm telling Stu that for sure, 100%. Let's go."
But
the likeness is uncanny. So I feel like we definitely need to talk Highguard, but I feel like we should do the introductions first.
Yes,
do it properly.
Absolutely. Welcome to Friends Per Second podcast. It's episode 87. We talk about video games here. I'm Jake Baldino. I'm joined by SkillUp, aka Ralph, aka that's it. That's okay. Those are your two names. And Lucy James, of course. But special guest this week to chat with us, we have Chris Plante, who you might know as one of the co-founders of Polygon. He's a creator of Post Games, a cool podcast you should listen to, as well as the Besties. Chris, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
That's a good answer. It's funny, we've never actually met. We were trying to figure out, like, do we know each other? It's like we've been at this for a minute, but
it's a weird parasocial to parasocial relationship. It's really strange where it's like, oh, we both know each other, but we don't know each other.
And I've read you for years, and I kind of just know your voice, so it's crazy. Yeah.
Do you do the event circuit? Do you go to stuff?
I do every now and then, and I'll be very honest with you. I've seen you, Ralph, at a few events.
Okay.
But I watch your videos, and your voice is so distinct. And a lot of people, I think myself included, you kind of have an on-mic voice. Yep. You don't. Your voice is just you. So when I'm like, oh, I'll go talk to him. And then I'm like, oh, he's recording something. And then I realize, no, you're literally just chatting with people.
So that is such an awful thing to say to someone. Hey, you know the YouTube thing? You're that all the time.
I think
what a brutal takedown. What an absolute KO.
You're truly you.
That's a nice spin, yeah. Extremely Australian all of the time.
I think you're going to say you see him at events because he's so tall, and it's kind of, we could use Ralph as a meeting place because he's just head and shoulders above everyone
again,
else.
Someone else said to this the other day, they're like, oh, I'm so looking forward to meeting you. I've heard how tall you are. I'm like, bro, I'm 6'2". That's not especially tall. That's tall, but it's not freakishly tall. It's not you know what I mean? I'm not a
monster.
Exactly.
To be fair, people might be wondering, why have you not seen Chris around? And the reason you haven't seen me is because I'm roughly 4 foot tall.
Okay,
so you were probably looking left and right.
Sure.
You're grazing the top
Straight
of my head. You were seeing my bald spot, which is understandable.
You should get a cool hat, a really tall, Doug Dimmadome hat.
Like a Lincoln hat.
That's it.
Oh, or a post game
branding.
Right. Do we want some branding? I just want to make sure that people know this is.
That's nice. I like it.
I would like to know. It's funny you have that hat on. How is Post Games going?
Post Games is going, great.
Probably tell us. Maybe tell us what it is first.
Yeah, the elevator pitch.
Sure.
What's the elevator pitch?
Great point. Because everybody knows what it is, but I guess I could do it anyway. Post Games. You ever I'm not saying this as a dig at this podcast because I also do a podcast with a group of people. But have you ever listened to a gaming podcast and thought, what would it be like if it was just one person kind of doing the NPR thing and not 4 people chatting together?
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder what that would be like. And then I made it. So that's what I do every week. I have kind of a big question each week, and then I go about answering it. And usually it's 1, sometimes 2 experts who will figure it out for me, which is great for someone who doesn't want to do the work. I just talk to really smart people. So if you've ever wondered, ironic an early episode I did was, why are there so many porn games? And then that ended up becoming a really big question for everybody. And I followed up with like, why is the censorship happening, right? You get stuff like that. Or you can get something like an episode I did on a Polish developer who rebuilt a cave that you could no longer access in the United States because a person died in it, and it became a tomb because they couldn't get him out.
Oh, wait,
and then this developer made it into a VR game.
Wow.
It's very interesting, and it's an episode that I was very mixed about going into it, and came away from it like, wow, I did learn a lot. So yeah, it is a great way to learn about parts of gaming culture that you might otherwise miss, or that you would like be really interested in as a feature, but like you don't necessarily have time to read, but you do have time to listen to things while you're washing the dishes.
True. Very true.
So that's it. That's
nice.
Just one of those shows.
That's huge. It's great too. Like the the NPR style, the inspiration. You totally see it because I'm a fan of like stuff like that. Just the way it's set up, the way it's edited, the way there's actual production value to it. So I like what you're doing.
Yes, I mean, it's. I will say, I'm speaking to a bunch of people who I feel like are doing a similar thing because I'm curious if y'all can relate to this. I just turned 40, and I had this moment of.
Ew.
Gross.
Sorry.
I know.
Gross.
You don't need to tell me. I look in the mirror every day, Jake. I turned 40, right? And even before that, I was like, the kind of generations before us got pushed out of gaming journalism for any number of reasons, whether it was a different purge in magazines to online, or it's people moving to PR, or all sorts of reasons. And there just wasn't a lot of stuff that I felt like was made for me. I think like Simon Parkin has like a show like My Perfect Counsel that is like very much for me, but there wasn't a lot of stuff when I like looked around that really felt like it was targeting my age demographic. And for me, I was like, wow, I want to make that. And I think all of you create things that are reaching to an audience that wants something, I don't know, that like, I want to say respects them more because each thing is respecting its demo in its own way, but like is like recognizing that they're at a different point in their life. I don't know if that's that's how I feel when I watch.
I think that's very fair. I actually don't consume that much games media stuff.
Yeah.
But I listen, but I think I've said this to you before, Chris, is that like The Besties is the one video game podcast that I religiously listen to and have done for years. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I try. We try. We definitely are a show for people who are over the age of at least 35. I think you can really tell.
38 years old.
I mean, spiritually, you're like. I always thought you were like a solid 52.
Spiritually,
right?
I am 74 years old. I'm in bed already. I'm not even here. But no, that's the thing. It's like I think one of the things that particularly it's very easy to do in games is that you focus only on games and you don't really consume anything else about it. And I think this year in particular, I have really gotten into reading more, which we'll talk about later, we talked about last time. But I think the thing that I've always done is I've always listened to different kinds of podcasts rather than just gaming podcasts. That was my one outlet for the thing that I'll do that's mine that's not gaming, except for The Besties.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. I think a variety of interest is healthy for people. I strongly encourage it.
It is, yeah.
I don't think I have anyone that watches me that's like under the age of 24 years old. Like I look at my metrics, there's just like the 3 bars is like that, there's like anything before 24 is like nothing. And then anything after like 52 or whatever it is there's nothing there either. It's just like, that's it. So
for me, you're like, key audience. I picture one person when I picture your videos, and it is Casey Newton. Do you know Casey Newton?
No.
Wow, this is amazing. Casey Newton from the New York Times, who is the head technology podcaster.
Oh, Casey. Sorry, of course I know Casey. Yeah, sorry. I for some reason had a different name in my head, and then I typed it. I'm like, that's not how I spelled Casey with a K. But yeah, of course I know Casey. Absolutely. Sure.
Casey Newton is like every time I talk to Casey Newton.
Okay.
Like somebody who like they know tech, they like games, maybe they don't have as much time for games, and then they're like they I think people can live vicariously through people who who make this sort of stuff, because like who has time to play all the games that we play?
That's so true.
It's not
And
possible.
Yeah.
honestly, true story, Casey was actually an inspiration to me as I thought about starting the website. So with what he did with
Wow.
Platformer. And we actually spoke multiple times before the creation of the website. And so he definitely gave me a lot of steer in the early days. So yeah, absolutely like
Makes sense.
Casey. But yeah, I agree. And a lot of people do say to me as well, and I'm sure they say that to you guys as well, which is just like, they're like, I don't really play games anymore, but I just watch you. And that's just how I keep up with this hobby now, you know? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the same with movies, with some of the, like, you know, like the Red Letter guys. Like, I won't watch a lot of the stuff that they cover, but I'm happy to watch them talk about it. You know what I mean? And I just think if you're interested in something but you don't have time to consume all of it, sometimes it's enough just to like watch people that you like and trust and watch them talk about something. And it's obviously not the same, but it's something, you know? It's something.
That is something. It's like there's two sides to that sword, because on the one hand, you know, it's great that people are checking in, keeping up with the hobby. They love the inside baseball of it, even if they don't play a lot of games. But then like you said, like living vicariously through like all the things we're playing, Chris. But then I also think like sometimes I feel like one of those toy reviewers, like those little kids who just open up toys all day, and then they like little kids sit and watch those kids play with toys. I was like, is that me? Am I the adult video?
We're not making nearly as much money as those kids.
No.
Are making.
That's also
my
when I
Lambo?
like designed post games. That's how I feel with besties. And what I realized for like post games was, the games are almost always a trick to talk about something else. So like when I'm doing an episode coming up on Relooted, it's like, wow, this is a history of artifacts from across the African continent and how they were stolen and how they may or may not be taken back, and like how you convert that into a video game and how you think about that. And like that is, you ideally come away from the episode having learned a lot about things that aren't the video game. Because the other thing I realized is, at least for audio with like a one-person interview, that's a miserable experience for experiencing the game compared to like coming and watching a video.
Yeah.
Like you just want to go do that. So I have to do something that is inherently different, because I can't compete with the kids opening the toys. And we said this before we even started, I'm not much of a looker, nor am I charming, nor do I know how to make video work.
Awesome.
So like I gotta stay away from the Twitch world. That's not gonna play. Like that is off the table. Born for radio right here.
Let's say yourself short, my man. Come on now.
Yeah.
Please.
Sure.
Come on.
Thank you.
Well, I think there is definitely a lot to talk about this week, from Highguard to Resident Evil to other things we've been playing. Also, just real quick off the top, the Xbox thing from last week. The Xbox Developer Direct. What main takeaways? Ralph, how did you feel about that one?
Loved it.
You didn't make a full video on it, did you?
No, I don't. I didn't. I just covered it in the news show. But I was all into it, man. I saw some coverage that was like negative on it. I'm like, how could you be negative on that? Like, I don't quite understand. Like, I understand being negative on Xbox and like, Xbox is not in a great place. But that Direct, those games that were shown, I was like, damn, man. Yeah, absolutely. Like that looked, I think Forza looks incredible, but I think it's a hard bar for them to clear at this point because we just have such high expectations of the quality that they produce. And so we're like, well, of course this looks incredible. And if it looked anything less than that, we'd be like, this is fucking dog shit, you know? But like, no, it really does look amazing. And they put so much thought into it. And I don't know, I never really played Forza before 5, like Forza Horizon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I've just never been a car guy. Like, I played Gran Turismo on the PlayStation back in the day. Like, I'm talking PS1, PS2. Then just dipped from cars for like ages. And then, just checked out Forza Horizon 5. And I was like, wow, this is actually excellent. And I continued to play it after the review, actually, because I loved it so much. So I'm all in on this and really love the look of it. And then, of course, there was Fable. And I think everyone had every right to be very skeptical of that because reboots usually go badly and Playground Games had never made a game like this before. And there's a lot of factors. But again, I was just like, wow, yeah, okay, this looks beautiful and it looks thoughtful and they're saying all the right things and seems to have some really interesting systemic elements. And I was just like, yeah, absolutely. It looks like you're heading in the right direction. So really loved it. The Kiln game,
Are you guys going to play this? Yeah.
I want to play it. It's one of those things where it's like, I love the look of it. I love the ideas behind it. I love the ethos of it and how they've created it.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, we've been friends. We've been doing this podcast for what, 4 or 5 years? Took us until last night to play a game together for the first time.
And we were miserable.
And we
were
were
not.
mad.
To be fair, that was not a fun game to play together.
Yeah,
We
I want
had
to
a
play a
fun
fun game with you guys.
time.
Yeah,
For sure.
We had a fun time. But, you know, I think just as I'm getting older, depressed myself, I just don't have the time to play a lot of online stuff.
Yeah.
And I just don't, I can't see it fitting into my life. However, love Double Fine. I love that they're being weird. I love that this was a project that came out of one of their game jams and that is being released, and they are, I don't know, I always worry about Double Fine. Feels like as a game
I feel like that comes with like
studio.
what they make, right?
Yeah. They
Like, if
make
you're gonna
great
make-
stuff, but does Xbox give a shit about great stuff anymore? I don't know. And so I was just
Well, and
worried about
they make risky stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like they make. They don't try to make what will be received as a 10 out of 10 video game.
No.
That doesn't mean they don't try to make like great things.
Yeah.
It's that kind of like an Oscar chaser. Like you can pursue that, and they are not in that business. They are about taking risks that will inevitably leave a little bit of like friction and residue on whatever the final thing is.
Wait,
And
so
I
you're
think
saying,
that's why
like-
you always have that like pit in your stomach when they show new stuff.
Yeah, versus like the if Austin Butler talking in Elvis's accent for 2 years is your Ninja Theory, who would your
Whoa. Hang on.
Oscar.
Psychonaut.
Well, hang
Right,
on.
like-
I want to see Lucy finish this thought.
Okay, no. Sorry, you're right. I do want to go. Okay, where are we going?
And then
Uh-huh.
Robert Pattinson not giving a shit and just doing a good job is your Double Fine.
doing weird voices.
Doing weird voices and weird shit is Double Fine. People bushing for Oscar
What
bait,
movie?
Austin Butler. I don't know. He could get nominated for Dune
I
Part
don't
3.
think Robert Pattinson is the right comparison to Double Fine.
I
We need
could not
someone
think of anyone
much
else.
quirkier and weirder who does little weird shit. I don't know who it is, but like it'd be like if Danny DeVito suddenly became a serious actor. That's who I'm thinking Double Fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
that's it, right?
I
Not
mean, it's
Robert
just Danny
Pattinson.
DeVito. You nailed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's Danny DeVito. What? I don't know. I think Robert Pattinson is a weird little guy.
He is a weird
definitely
little
is.
guy.
I think
Have you
he's
seen,
too
have you not
hot.
seen that
I think-
interview where he
I think
made
he's-
up the fact that he went to a circus
Yes.
and a clown died, and he was
Yes.
telling it in interviews, and then he was like, "That didn't happen."
Nah, but I think that's only the stuff that super hot people can do and get away with,
Yeah.
and be like, and everyone will be like, "Oh, that's so charming." Whereas if it was like a really ugly person, they're like, "What are you doing, man? Like, why are you lying? Like, what's up with that?" Do you know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with you? You know,
That is how I know video games haven't gone fully mainstream yet. Is Robert Pattinson talks about Final Fantasy and his co-stars still are like disgusted. by it.
Oh,
Like, he's such a
yeah.
It's like
nerd.
we still have a ways to go. We've
Sure.
still got space.
Which leads me back to Kiln. I just want to say that for me, it was kind of like, in a good way, I was like, ooh, this could be great for kids. Because I thought about
yeah,
myself.
true.
And that like tangibility of making a thing and then seeing it in the game. And it being a simplistic kind of party style, like Mario Party Crash Bash type of thing. I was like, ooh, that's pretty cool. Do you remember those old PC games where like you could like draw something and then like they would render that into the game, like a little platformer,
yeah.
like old PC,
Like Crayon
CD
Physics also did
Yeah.
things like that.
yeah, like
right?
CD-ROM based games. Like off the top of my head, I can't remember, but they were like bargain bin ones you get at Office Max or Staples. But they had that thing, that satisfying, like you can draw a thing or build a little thing and then it inserts it into the game. And this just felt like a modern version of that. And I was like, oh man, if I was a kid, this would scratch that itch like big time. But can Xbox, this is the bigger question, like can Xbox get that in the hands of children? I don't know if they can. I don't think they're even thinking about that. I think that just comes down to like parents.
Maybe if they put it on
like, gamers with
PlayStation.
kids.
I think it will eventually come to PlayStation,
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah. I mean,
Does it come out Switch?
I think that I actually have been thinking about this quite a bit because I was like replaying some Astrobot recently, and I was like, yeah, like kids games and this sort of whole segment, it really feels like publishers have left it on the table, and like, yeah, I don't know, like you see some indie stuff come up that's sort of targeting kids, sort of, and there's like your old Bluey game or whatever. But I don't know, just, actual games that are truly made for kids, it just seems like no one really tries, or very few companies try to do that now, because they're like, well, Roblox and Minecraft already have that all stitched up and you can't really compete with it, And I think that that's to like the platform's detriment big time. And again, I think I've used this example in the past, but like you think about comic books and the fact that they're not sold at newsagents anymore, right? Like newsstands. And that means that like you can't have some kid like, tugging at his mum or dad's, trousers or whatever, being like, hey, can I buy this thing? And then that starts something that lasts for the rest of their lives. I think it's the same sort of thing with like consoles where, I just think the publishers, and this is why Nintendo will survive. Like they will, because they get you young and they create something that you are going to stay and like fall in love with forever. And I just don't think, and I think Sony really needs to get on that. I just think right now there's nowhere near enough. Like they've made one kids game in the last console generation. Are there any others you can think of?
When did Knack 3 come out?
Horizon.
Did Knack 3 come out?
You're right, the Horizon one.
No. I was sat there thinking when you were saying that Sony needs to get it, I was going, in my head, oh, time to make a Horizon joke. And then I realized they already did it.
They did make a Horizon joke. You're absolutely correct.
Lego Batman's coming out.
True.
Lego Batman
the Lego
as well.
stuff. Yeah.
Is it a quality gap? Because I look at like the kind of SpongeBob Racer game that used to come out, and I think it probably still does, right? $40. And at $40 and it looking like mediocre, the parent's going to talk with the kid. The parent's not going to want to buy it. And they're going to say, what do you want? Do you want this or do you want 40 V-Bucks or Robux or whatever? And the kid's going to be like, oh, I want that. And it'll go way further for me. Versus when it's at a certain quality threshold, like the Astrobot, the parent says, we're buying it anyway. We're not even having that conversation. Like, I like it. I think you're going to like it. I know it's good.
Yes.
And it's like, if you want to get that part of the kid market, you almost have to make something that the parents are going to want to buy. Otherwise, they're just going to like have the kid weigh which they prefer, and they're always going to choose the V-Bucks.
True. Well, that's why I think investing in those experiences from the platforms matters. Like, I mean, I think obviously Nintendo, that's their entire business model. Sony have done it with Astrobot. It was incredible. The Horizon game wasn't great, but look, I applaud them for trying. But it would just be cool if they did a lot more in this space and they really tried to foster that connection to kids and allowed adults to like, there were more games that they could play with their kids, and that would be very smart. Obviously, Xbox is never going to do that. That's not their business model anymore. It's all about like Diablo and Call of Duty for them now. But Sony, I'd love to see them step up here. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I would.
I agree.
Yes.
The cat agrees.
Cat agrees.
I picked her up because
timed.
she was just yelling on the ground, and I was like, maybe if I give her a cuddle, but no, she just really.
No, you're like, maybe I'll give her the mic. Let's just get her on there. But circling back, for me, Fable was the highlight. It seems like they're in a good place with it. They're the right direction. For me, I think a lot of it's going to come down to the story, because they didn't show a lot of that. But it sounds like they're really focusing on telling a story from the way they're presenting it. They've confirmed that it's going to be this whole British television office style mockumentary thing for the storytelling. And that can like make or break the whole thing. So I'm really curious to see how that goes down. But otherwise, I'm excited. Even as like a OG game purist, it is what it is. It's cool.
I was about to say, I can't wait for everyone to do British accents.
For in what?
Mary Poppins? Is that Mary Poppins?
No.
You put your whole chest in that.
Sorry.
You gotta be more reserved with it, more refined. You can't just be throwing out a Mary Poppins.
Murray Poppins.
Oh, you're saying Murray Poppins?
Murray
Who's Murray Poppins?
I work for the BBC Three. Murray Poppins.
That was good. That I could believe in.
What were you doing yesterday?
I did work for BBC Three for a point.
All right, so
wait. Hold up. What did you do for BBC Three?
Documentaries.
Which ones?
It did not come out, and I left. And you will hear more about it on my episode on Reloaded, because I had to take video of human remains, and it was not fun.
Cool.
Oh,
and then I peaced out. But it was a really cool program. Never mind. That's a whole separate topic. We don't need to talk about the BBC.
I have a question. Is BBC 3 like MTV2?
So BBC Three
BBC
was their youth programming. It was where they tried to hit. It's where Family Guy used to live for us. We had the Mighty Boosh on there.
Okay.
What else was on BBC
What about the superhero show?
Wait,
It was
what
like
was your- I think that
Skins,
was-
but with superheroes.
That's
That was
Channel
good.
4.
Okay, that was good shit.
Sorry.
I'm
but
realizing
it
I was 2. I wasn't 3. I was
Oh,
2.
you hey, that's prime time.
Yes, because it was documentaries on 2. Something like that.
That's
yeah.
a much bigger deal than BBC Three.
No. Nah. It was
All right, so
Yeah.
no
Okay.
British accents. We can't do that anymore.
It's fine.
No,
I just will be like, I will give critiques, and I will, help you get there.
I think
I'd
I was
like
doing
to
pretty
hear
good last
about
night.
Fable.
Oh man.
Fable.
Oof.
Is that good?
Oof.
Lucy, I think I was doing okay yesterday with Size of a Tangerine. You didn't even
Size of a
didn't even bat an
Tangerine.
eye.
No, because as soon as I hear
Size
so
of a Tangerine.
a size of a tangerine. As soon as I hear someone do an Alfred voice, I will also do the Alfred voice. So that's my the cheat code for British accents
Get out
around
of
me.
here.
But my accent
All right.
is dreadful. So
Well, with that, any last thoughts on Fable?
no.
I look forward to being a landlord.
You could hold
Quote him on that.
everything.
Clip it.
Yep.
Clip it.
I'm gonna evict all the people, man. There's gonna be an armed revolt. I'm gonna do all the terrible things. It's gonna be the worst.
And
Yeah.
check
That's
them
the
for
Your new
rent and-
t-shirt.
Yeah. It's gonna be great.
So I
All
never
right.
really got that deep into Fable the first time round. So
Did you not? Surprising.
No. Yeah,
British
it feels
from
like
your
a very
homeland.
unique.
Makes sense. It's basically it's just set in like 1920s England, right? You know, so
Yeah,
it's
I
just-
recognize my house
That's
going
right.
around Albion.
Yeah.
No, so I'm intrigued to play. I thought Beast of Reincarnation looked cool, if a little.
blurry.
Derivative.
It looked a lot like. I mean, there were certain bits in it that was clearly pulling from other character action games. So Sekiro, Phantom Blade. Not sure if that's an engine thing or just a stylistic thing.
Nier Automata,
Yeah, but
Nier
at the same
Automata's background
time,
music and Stellar Blade vibe.
character, yeah, the whole
and
thing.
Wolf that has
Princess
a
Mononoke.
nature tale, Okami. So
And Horizon
you know.
Zero Dawn. It's
Hey,
very.
don't
It just
do
felt
that.
very derivative of things.
Yes,
But I'm still intrigued by it. Looks pretty.
You know where I thought it looked the best? When they finally showed a couple of shots of combat with the UI, like full UI,
Yeah.
and it looked like there was some aspect of pausing the battlefield
Yes, I
and
agree with that.
initiating wolf attacks.
Mm.
That is where I was like, wait a minute. The rest of it, it's like, oh, another parry game that I'm gonna suck at. Great. But when I saw that stuff and the boss monster designs, I was like, there's something here.
There's something. I'm
It's
intrigued
cool
by
that
it.
they
Bear
get
that's
to
a
work on a
flower?
game for more than like a few months. That's cool. Like Game Freak gets a chance to actually like work on something, and I don't know. Yeah, it'd be cool. Like because then maybe they might go, hang on a second. What if we worked on Pokemon for more than a few months, and then incredible things could happen? Like,
What if
I was gonna say-
Pokemon had a parry?
What if what if we
parry.
make a game that's not tethered to a 2-generation old piece of hardware?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of people who didn't play Timbo the Badass Elephant.
Oh, that was good. I
No,
forgot
yeah.
about that.
We heard about
That
that,
was
one because
good.
we were talking to Dusant about that. That was his game, right? Who's the game director on that game? Wasn't
Hmm. Oh, it came up. Yeah, hang on.
Yeah,
wasn't
James
it-
Turner is the director.
Oh,
of
that's right.
Timbo,
I'm confusing
Badass
my
Elephant.
indies. That was for Plucky Squire. Excuse me, James Turner.
Mhm.
That's right, Plucky
Yes.
Squire game director. Oh my god, yes. So that's how I actually heard about that game. I'd never heard of it before that conversation. I was like, well, yeah, this does look cool, you know. So yeah,
It was good.
Anyway.
It was real good. Let's move on to Resident Evil Requiem. We have played it. We got some impressions, but before that, just a quick word from the sponsor.
This video is brought to you by Factor. Now, Jake, I don't know about you, but I know I definitely want to eat better, but I don't really have a lot of time and I don't really have a lot of energy, which is why I love Factor, because you don't have to meal prep or follow recipes. It just like removes the whole problem of doing all that. You get 2 minutes, real food, and it's done. It's great.
Yeah, and you think about like your life and your routine and eating. You're not if you're trying to eat better, you're trying to eat healthier. You're not failing at healthy eating when you're struggling with it. You're really failing at having 3 extra hours a night with all that stuff, the food shopping, the meal prepping, and stuff like that. But Factor just delivers fresh, never frozen, dietitian approved meals right to your doorstep with tons of choices. They have so much stuff. You can do Mediterranean. If you're on like GLP-1, like they have GLP-1 supported meals, ready to eat salads. If you're looking for a high protein diet, they have that. If you're vegan, anything you need, and you get to customize it completely to your liking with like fun add-ons and little options. They really totally have you covered.
Yeah, and like there's over 100 rotating meals to choose from every week, and man, anything with those cheesy grits I pick every single time. But it's just nice to kind of take the brain work out of it. It's like it comes straight to my door, I put it in the microwave, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, for me it's been great for vegetables. I have a habit of like, breakfast pretty simple, dinner usually go crazy, lunch lately I've been like, man, I need some like vegetables in me. I need greens. So Factor helps me kind of like customize and tailor to what I actually want. And it's been great. It's been killer. They've been sponsoring the show for a long time. So if you want to check it out, all you got to do is head to factormeals.com/FPS50off and then use code FPS50off to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. But once again, that is factormeals.com/FPS50off. And then use that code FPS50off to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's a lot of good eats. So check them out. And big thanks to Factor for sponsoring this podcast. All right, we're back, and it's time to talk about my favorite thing in the world, Resident Evil.
Do you still have the jacket?
Yeah. Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
Have I worn it on the podcast?
No, you have not. Please go get it.
All right, well, continue amongst yourselves.
Okay. Lucy can give us because you played it, Lucy.
Did 3
Chris, did you play it?
hours.
You didn't play it, Chris? Okay, cool. So, tell us the setup. Tell us what the situation was. Give us the background.
It's a balmy afternoon in San Francisco, and I go to Capcom's office.
Here we go.
I don't know why I started that, like an investigative reporter.
Film noir detective.
No, so I went to Capcom.
Put her in black and white for that little bit, okay?
Give her a cigarette and a hat. Yeah.
Anyway, this broad walks in. There we go. So Capcom's office, the setup is 3 separate sections of the game. The first is a roughly 10-minute where you play as Leon. Then it's a good hour and a half, 2-hour chunk, maybe even more, where you're playing as Grace.
Okay.
And it is just, and then this is after the point where
sorry,
audio listeners, please go look at the video.
You got to come to the YouTube channel. You can't miss this.
Because Leon S. Kennedy has arrived.
He's just entered the building. Can you do a quick roundhouse kick for us, Jake? Can you just show us, man?
He did it too, audio listeners. He nailed it.
He really did it. The flexibility, Jake. How do you do it, man?
I need a good one-liner. Like, sorry, this time lunch is closed. Yeah, just a good classic Leon.
That actually would be probably something you would say, to be fair. So that's actually pretty spot on.
Knife to see you, I guess.
All right, so you were there, and it was 1.5 hours with Grace, and then was that the end of it?
Maybe more with Grace. The Grace section was like 2 and a bit hours, right?
Yeah, I'd say two and a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the final section was Leon again, and it was a boss fight encounter. So Leon is defaulted to being third person, and Grace is defaulted to being first, which I think makes a lot of sense. Because when you are Leon, you have the bigger case for your inventory. You have the axe, which you sharpen on the fly. You also have you can pick up chainsaws. And my God, I didn't realize the chainsaw would be such a game changer. But here we are. The first thing you do is you see a doctor walk in, freshly zombified, with a chainsaw open this nurse in front of you, and then you can shoot it out of his hand. And then the other zombies can either pick it up, or if you shoot it out and it falls on the ground, it'll spin and cut the legs off the zombies who try and get close to it and also hurt you. So, be careful of that. Then you can pick it up and you just wail through them. And it is, even though we weren't playing the game as the actual game will run, as in, you know, how the story beats going from one to another. Even just in the action-packed Chainsaw Leon segment to the tense stealth section of Grace felt like, oh, that's going to be a really fun ebb and flow, and just the sheer catharsis of chainsawing a bunch of people and then having to sneak around on my bad knees for like 2 hours at a time. So, and then, yeah.
I think the developer's choice, essentially, like their intention is Leon third, Grace first, and like I generally agree with that, and that's how I played most of my time. The only part where I struggled was doing some of the kind of stealth creeping around as Grace. It was just, you know, it's first person, and I was like, you felt like I had a clear advantage with third person, and it would be easier, so I did switch to third person.
Yeah.
The stealth is interesting because there's not too much to it. It's just kind of like creeping around these zombies and occasionally getting a stealth kill on one, but it worked. I think the standout thing for me with the whole thing was the zombies. This kind of zombie ecosystem was really, really cool to see. So the zombies in this, they kind of retain some of their old habits or things from their lives. So you're going around this like facility. So there's like a cleaning lady that's still like cleaning the mirrors. There's like a patient walking around with like he's all bandaged up. He's holding like a IV, and he's sensitive to sound. There's like a spooky lady singing zombie where if she sees you, she'll do a big screech and it'll stun you temporarily.
Did you read the note about her?
No, I don't think I did.
I found her patient record, and the description is whatever her name is, loves to be the center of attention, blah, 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 brackets, main character syndrome, which I just thought was so funny.
Oh, it's so clear because like when you first encounter that zombie, it's like she's like framed in the doorway and she's just like twirling around. But I gotta say, the zombie stuff here is like on a really interesting new level. Some of it is very you know, like over the top. Like some zombies are like the cleaning lady zombies, like kill, clean, who made a mess. Like it's a little goofy, but it worked. Like Resident Evil has talking monsters and stuff like that. It's fine. But where it really worked was with like the singing lady, where she's kind of half singing, half zombie moaning, half crying, and it's like going in and out of weird pitches, and it just felt so unnerving. And the sound design was so good for it, like so solid. And if you didn't kill her and you kept exploring, her weird singing would like echo through the halls. And that to me was like, oh, okay, like there's that good stuff. And that,
but she
that
also
felt
could
to me like,
stun you. Did you get that?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. She could do like the big screech, and then it kind of like
But
screws
then
up
if
your
you try
vision.
to shoot her, I mean, Grace is not as good with weapons anyway, but your aim is like this as you are trying to recover from it, which I think is a really cool.
Yeah, it's no joke. But like the fact too that like there are kind of like there's like the big chef enemy stalking one whole area. Then there's another stalker type enemy stomping around between two floors. And then it seemed to me like the cleaning lady zombies would actually roam around and seek out blood. If you like killed an enemy and there was blood, they would eventually wander their way over to that blood and start cleaning it. So you kind of had to be aware a little bit more of like what's actually going on in this environment in a way that just kind of kept me on my toes. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's the other one, the ones that don't like light being turned on.
Oh, the light switch guys, yeah.
And so you can make the decision of, am I just going to ignore this guy, you know, turn the light on over there, make him wander around and then just keep him out of the way. But then there could be a situation later on where I'm being chased and I have to go that way and I haven't dealt with that guy. So there was obviously the risk reward of it. But the zombies themselves, it just felt like classic Resident Evil, wandering around that facility, you know. It just
they've stepped away from the influences, right? Like I love 7 and 8. I think are like borderline perfect video games, but 7 is really influenced by the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre and sort of like American folk horror, and then 8 is very influenced by fairy tales. And zombies, I guess, are kind of a part of it, but it's not the thing. And this sounds so much like Romero's kind of like later stuff. I mean, the zombies in the mall, and then also sounds like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which, have you ever seen this movie?
No.
No, I've seen one.
Oh my. Okay. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre, huge hit, right? And people are like, wow, you made this like really early scary movie. And then Toby Hooper goes on and makes a whole bunch of other stuff. And then he kind of needs to go make some money. It's like, hey, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, you want to do that? And he's like, you got it. You getting exactly what you asked for. And he makes this like psychedelic horror comedy in which like people dual wield chainsaws and fight like hippies with them.
Is that
and
the
there's
Matthew
like a
McConaughey
chase
one?
scene on a car. No. That's much later. This one is oh
This
my
one
gosh,
sounds awesome.
It's unbelievable, but it's like pure camp chaos.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I feel like you can always tell what they're watching when they make it. Same thing
Yes.
with Evil Dead 1 was such an influence on Resident Evil 7. And yeah, this one is Dennis Hopper is the name that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Dennis Hopper is really going for broke in his chainsaw dual wielding.
In everything he does, man, he always went for broke.
That's blue ribbon. Every time.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it was really cool. I'm excited to see where it goes story wise, because they did throw one or two things to me as like an old fan from like the original game. My ears kind of perked up.
Okay.
So I'm curious to see where they go with that. And yeah, also playing as Leon and doing that kind of boss or like sub boss, whatever it was really cool. It also shows that they're still not afraid to go like over the top. Because you're doing like almost like a quick time event where he like does the Kratos God of War like jump up and do an axe slam on this enemy, but it was in a way that actually fit. It felt right. So yeah, I'm curious to see if they can keep this type of momentum, this type of interesting pacing going through the whole game, because there's so much that we haven't seen. All the marketing, all the stuff has literally only shown the Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center. This kind of hospital setting. That's all we've seen, and we know they go to Raccoon City and all that stuff from the first trailer. But yeah, I'm just excited to see where it goes and if they can stick the landing.
Larger question for y'all: has a developer ever had a run as solid as the one that Capcom is in right now?
Exoprimal,
Right now.
baby. 100%. That's the one.
Yeah.
You say Exoprimal?
Yeah, man. That was
the
the
one
peak.
game that they
That was the
definitely
peak.
busted on.
No, I mean,
That's my KO. I'm knocked down.
I have honestly, no, I totally agree with you. I've regularly reflected on like the generational run that Capcom has been having. It's crazy. Like they just, I don't know, like it's weird. It feels almost too obvious to say it, but it's just like they decided, hey, all these properties that people love, let's just make really good versions of them. And that's it. You know what I mean? Like they do some bullshit too. They had some like Resident Evil like multiplayer stuff that never works. They keep trying that. It's never going to happen. They do some mobile bullshit for sure. They had Exoprimal. I still don't understand how that happened. But like, yeah, I mean, seriously though, they really just decided that like, let's just put all our money and effort and time into making really fantastic Monster Hunter games, Resident Evil games, Devil May Cry games, and then people will just shower us in money. And yeah, I think they just announced earnings as well, and their earnings are like 30% up year on year or some shit. Do you know what I mean? They
It's
just
like, was it 11 million Monster Hunter
something like that. And
souls?
Monster Hunter Wilds wasn't even great, by the way. It was kind of like, it's much maligned by the fan base. Like it's just not a great entry in the series, unfortunately. And even then, it still sells 11 million units, and people still appreciate it because it's on many levels, it's still an incredible game. But yeah, man, Capcom, they just figured it out. I feel like Konami are trying to replicate that in their own way. They're like, all right, we saw what Capcom has done. All we need to do is just take our properties that everyone already knows and loves and then just make some good video games. And so far, it's working for Konami. I know it sounds so dumb, but it's like literally that's it. There's nothing else to it. Do you know? Like,
but then Konami's also like, here's a game about an octopus also.
True, actually.
Yeah,
that's true. They do weird. That's true.
Yeah. So I like that they're, but I mean, Capcom, it's interesting too, like why I think, like me personally, like why I'm still always excited about like what Capcom is doing is because not only that will they do what you said, Ralph, bring back the good stuff, make a new one, give people what they want, do it well. But they're also showing willingness to dig a little deeper, because like I never expected them to bring back and do another Dragon's Dogma, or
True.
even celebrate something like Okami, which I know was a great game and like did well for them, but it just felt so. I just never thought they would bring something like that back. Not like you know, Resident Evil stuff like that, you understand, but I like that they do the big stuff, but they're continuing to also dig into other old things and try and make those new and exciting as well.
It feels like they're not really into trends. I think that's probably what, I don't know, as a publisher, you can imagine how they might sort of look at Resident Evil and think, well, Resident Evil needs to be updated for the modern era with, I don't know, some kind of bullshit or whatever. I don't know, like, you know, they're just kind of like, no, we know what people like Resident Evil for, so we're just going to do that. And yeah, again, the multiplayer stuff aside, that's just a whole different thing. But they just kind of...
I think that's the thing, though, right? They do the trend, but they like barely try. They're like,
and like,
we got to show our shareholders that we're trying. So, sure, hey, look at this Resident Evil multiplayer game. Yeah. Anyway, Resident Evil 9.
But the same thing with their multiplayer, like their in-game spending stuff, right? Where like they add on, you can buy red orbs and you can buy bullshit in Resident Evil games, and it's the most tacked on kind of like inoffensive microtransaction stuff possible, just so they can tick the box and tell their investors, oh yeah, we're doing this, but you can completely ignore it and it makes no difference. And that doesn't like excuse it, because I know some people are still like, no, we don't want any of it. It's like, yeah, I agree with you, sure. But at the same time, I don't know why Capcom clearly has no interest in trying to make money from these things. They just put them in there to tick some sort of weird box, and then they focused all their energy on like the rest of the game, you know? So yeah, I totally agree with you.
There is some luck to it too, though, right? Like, they've had the first great video game adaptation on Mortal Kombat tied, but like the Resident Evil series. And now all this is going on, and they're like, I don't know, who should direct the next Resident Evil movie? I don't know. Maybe the most in-demand director alive.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Remember they made a Monster Hunter movie?
Milla Jovovich.
It's Paul W.S. Anderson.
Of course.
It's solid.
Is it?
Legit. I'm an open Paul W.S. Anderson
I'm
fan.
a Resident Evil movie 1 through 4 enjoyer. 3 enjoyer.
Then
1
you
through 3
will.
enjoyer.
You should
enjoy.
really give Monster Hunter the movie a try. It is genuinely interesting. It's
Interesting
I
is
think
the
you should
word
give it a
you
try.
use.
I'm biased, but I think you should give it a try.
Yeah.
Chris, did you see Return to Silent Hill?
No, I do have standards. It might not seem like it, but I do.
I'm trying to see it, but it's not playing in enough theaters.
Wait, it's out now?
Yes.
It's out. It came out this week. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Jacob
Yeah.
Geller I saw went to see it. And
Okay.
Some people are
didn't
calling
have
it
the
the
time.
worst movie ever made.
Yeah. Have you seen the screenshot of the
With
beard?
the beard, James with the beard. Yeah.
James with the beard is what a $36 million budget, and it looks like something he bought from Party City.
It's so good.
It's bad.
Love it.
I still want to see
Great.
Bone Temple, and I know that bombed over the weekend, and I'm super sad about it. And I really hope it's still in theaters by the time I get to go this weekend.
I liked the 28 years later, the original one, or the new one.
the one from last year. Yeah.
yeah.
Although,
Lot of dick.
Okay.
so
Don't worry, Bone Temple
Okay.
follows through on that promise.
the thing was like I was the only British person in that theater with my friends, and so I'm not going to spoil the ending. Let's just say there is something that happens that is particularly sensitive and well known in the UK that happens and that they reference, and all of my friends hated the ending, and I just went, that is the boldest ending to a movie I have ever seen in my life. What are you guys talking about? And they're like, I don't know what this means. And I had to explain it to them. I also had to send so many voice notes to friends of mine who were going to go dress as those characters for Halloween.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know. I was like, what are you referring to? Yeah.
And I had to be like, please, as your friend, I'm looking out for you. Don't do it. Don't do it. Anyway, I
Even
can't
though
wait
it's
to see
so funny,
Bone
they
Temple.
showed up like the Power Rangers.
Yes.
They
And
were
that's
like,
what people
yeah,
thought they were
yeah.
doing. And I was like, all right.
What a film. Anyway.
Cinema.
Yeah. Resident Evil. Looking forward to it.
Not long to wait. It's a month as of recording.
You guys think they're going to kill Leon?
No.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if these people die. They just come back anyway. Like, it makes no difference.
Yeah. It'd be cool if he came back as like a robot.
Yeah,
Anyway.
actually, that would
Like a real
actually
hot
kind of really
robot.
work. Like, he could be like a total like cyborg kind of thing. I could see Umbrella Corp kind of doing that, and then he has to like the Slayer. Like, he's captured and he serves Umbrella Corp, and then he has to be like freed, and you know what I mean. Then he's on your
He's
side again.
winter
Like,
soldiered.
yeah, exactly. That I can totally see. That would be a sick character arc.
It's actually
I mean, he doesn't have to age, so you can
No,
lock
that's
him
right.
in
Yeah.
and keep him for
Totally.
the next 500 years. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, he's
And
barely aging as it is. Like his skin.
He's looking
wow. Drop the
He's looking
routine,
good.
Leon.
it's a toupee.
Do you mind if I share the one spoiler that I've heard about this game?
okay.
What? Okay.
They Kazuma Kiryu shows up and he dies in this one.
Oh, my
Wow.
God.
I know. They decided not in the last
They were
Like
like,
a Dragon. They
No,
thought it
it's
should
fine.
happen here instead.
Was it the
I know.
cancer? Is it the cancer that got him?
No. It was
Okay.
just a zombie. I mean,
Just a zombie.
it
Okay, right.
seems so
Okay.
obvious in
No, it's
hindsight.
fine.
What a way to
actually.
go. What a way to go.
Him of all people. Yeah, you know, it's always the ones you
I
least
know,
expect.
right?
Yeah.
But they don't call him Ichiban for nothing. He's got to be number one.
Well,
Oh, you're saying Ichiban set this up?
Yep.
well, speaking of number one, let's talk the biggest game release of the week, Highguard. The gang settled in to play this last
sure
night when the game
did.
went live. We had a rousing good time, did we not?
I had a
Ralph's
lovely
making
time
a
playing
face.
with you guys. We had fun.
We were all right. So I feel like Lucy, you and I are a very similar type of player, and then there's Ralph,
Who's just
who is
cleaning
very
up,
good at he's cleaning up, but he's also doing a very good job at like, okay, we missed that one.
shot calling. Yeah.
Okay, team, no problem.
Okay.
All right, we missed that one. Let's get the next one.
Wait,
and
no,
I could
but
hear
then-
it in his
but then-
voice. I was like, oh, he's
Sure.
he's unimpressed with our performance.
Sure.
Sure.
No,
Okay.
that is not true. I was having a great time too. I was really no. To be fair, no. Honestly, I think I was genuinely frustrated because we were playing on American servers.
Yeah, you
Number
were, I
one.
was rubber banding, so God knows
Oh, and
how much
the
you
lag
were.
was terrible, and like I was dumping like magazines into people, and they just stood there, and I'm like, okay, great. And then secondly as well, and I didn't know this, but I've heard that mouse acceleration is turned on by default in this game. And I was like, why can't I fucking aim? And I was actually like raging at myself, being like, why am I so bad at this? Like, I know how to shoot stuff in a game. And then I realized that was not helping at all. So it was a number of factors, but also I think we also were getting matched with some sweaty teams. Like I was seeing some players, as soon as they come out, they would just map you. And I'm just like, okay, clearly this person like
We were
knows
working
what
hard.
they're
We were
doing.
trying too. Like,
Yeah.
we weren't having like a casual play session.
No, like we really were getting matched with proper players, and we're just stepping into it and getting trucked the way that we were was like, oh, okay, this is fun. So, but no, honestly though, I did have a good time with you guys. Like I truly did. As I said, I was just like managing those internal frustrations, but also like the game itself just wasn't. I wasn't like having a lot of fun with the game, and I think that's another thing. And I guess that's kind of the jumping off point. So, Chris, have you actually played this yet? Did you boot it up?
No,
Okay.
I don't do games online because I'm bad at video games.
Okay,
that's
that's
why
fair.
this
Same.
podcast. I'm
Same.
very interested in it,
Okay.
like as a phenomenon, but no, I'm bad, and I would be horrible at this one.
Okay.
Horrible. But
It's
the
tough.
premise seems cool. Like, can you explain? People keep comparing it to football. I think Garrett
What?
Martin made that.
Okay,
comparison,
okay. That's an
but, like,
interesting idea. I can see how that works. So, okay, for Highguard is a competitive 3v3. Yeah, it's a tactical shooter sort of thing, broadly speaking, but it borrows a number of elements. So the first phase of the game is ultimately a loot phase where you run around a big empty map collecting loot, and it feels a lot like you're playing a battle royale when you've just landed and you're on the outskirts and a lot of space and not a lot of very few enemies, generally speaking. Opening up chests to collect items. You then at that point the shield breaker appears 2 minutes after that, and it appears in sort of a combat arena sort of space. You have
Race
to
for the
fight-
flag. Capture
yeah,
the
you
flag.
fight the other team to pick it up, and then you have to race it to their base to dunk it, at which point that will initiate the next phase, which is a siege. And at that point, like a battering ram knocks down their shield, you can assault their base, and you have to try to plant a bomb on one of their generators or something around their base. You can blow up 2 generators to win the game, or you can also blow up this sort of crystal thing at the middle of their base. And that's it. So that feels very Rainbow Six Siege-esque because the walls are destructible and you have to plant that bomb and then you
Bomb
have
defusal,
to like bomb defusal, all that sort of shit. So it really is kind of an amalgam of like, you know, some battle royale elements in terms of its loot game, and it's the capture the flag element from like classic Halo, and also the Rainbow Six Siege, you know, and Counter-Strike set us up the bomb kind of thing, while also having hero classes that feel like they're pulled straight from Apex Legends, which is unsurprising given that the studio that made this is about 60 people, many of whom came from Respawn. In fact, they had on their Steam page up until recently from the makers of, you know, Titanfall and Apex Legends, but they've since removed that because you're not allowed to say that unless you are Respawn. But they were saying it in their marketing. So that's the setup for it. And then it all comes down to like, well, does this work or not? And I'd be interested to hear maybe Jake and Lewis, like, how do you guys feel this is all coming together? Like, what are your thoughts?
I think that the mode itself is a very interesting concept. I think the idea of this weird hybrid mode is a cool idea. I think it's flawed. I think the initial part, the drop-in battle royale loot part of it, and like mining for crystals for a little currency to buy extra stuff, I feel like that stuff feels not great. The rest of it, I think it's actually kind of cool. And I think I like, so overall the game, it didn't really click with me because it still feels kind of like forgettable, generic. But there is something about like when you're on a good run and you hop on your mount, so you can summon a ghost horse or bear or panther at any point and blast across the map. And, you know, when you get the shield breaker, when you get that flag and you have your two teammates riding in tow with you and they're on their horses shooting at other guys that are trying to intercept you, and you try to get to their base and you get there just in the nick of time and you bust open their whole fortress. That's where the game works. And that's where I can see like, that's the good core idea. It's all the other stuff like shoved in there that you can really feel like it's just like, it felt like trying to cram so much stuff in that people like that feeling of dropping into a battle royale, having characters that have ults that are basically Overwatch, trying to do the hero shooter thing, trying to do a little extraction, it's just too much. But I think the mount, the horse, the kind of big map. So I'm curious to ask you guys, it's 3v3 and I've seen a lot of complaints of people saying that it feels empty. So
I don't think it should be 3v3.
I think there should be mobs or something to keep you busy at some points, but I didn't feel alone. I very consistently engaged with other players and it never felt like too bad. But
I mean, to be fair though, you only engage other players 4 minutes into the game. The first minute, you're locked in your own base. The next 2 minutes, you're in the gear up phase.
You're looting,
is so massive that you almost never bump into another player.
True.
The third minute, you're setting up for that. Sorry, and then
the third minute you're pursuing,
and then minutes 3 to 4, you're setting up for the shield breaker location, where you might encounter some people then, depending on how aggressive you go, but you might not. It's minute 4 that the flag is out, and then it's actually the combat begins proper. And I think the challenge is that like, and I think this game has a lot of problems, but like. That first 4 minutes is like you could basically delete all of that, and I don't really think anything of value would be lost at this point. And I don't think you should delete it, because I think you should actually just like change it and add other stuff to it and whatever else. But like defending your base in the first minute is pointless because you're just kind of whacking up some fucking defensive.
You can also do that if and when they break in.
Correct.
You
and also
transport back, and then you have that, like, why don't you just do it then? The thing that gets me about that opening round is it seems like it wants to do the Apex thing of you find everything in the environment and it encourages you to go out. But then it also has the blue crystals as this extra currency with an annoying QTE to mine it properly. But then you get money at the end of each round or whatever anyway. And so it's like, well, pick a lane. Do you want to do the Apex thing, which I think they should go towards, which is you run in, it encourages you to not stay in one area for too long. It encourages you to see the map, plot out points of where you're going to attack later on, and just be more excited about what you're picking up, rather than I'm going to spend a bunch of time mining and then I'll go talk to that British guy in the shop who can teleport around everywhere.
It looks like catching
It kills the
prize.
pace.
Yeah,
Absolutely kills the
I didn't
pace.
like that from the pacing point of view.
Especially because it's like you can do generous slides. There are zip lines everywhere. Again, you can summon a turbo horse at any point. So the game wants you to be fast and it wants you to be everywhere. It encourages you to teleport back to base, do all this stuff. But the loot and the kind of like essentially Fortnite swinging your pickaxe at these rocks really like kills that momentum and that feeling.
It's also like don't forget those first 2 loot phases, because basically the way it works as well is that you'll get one loot phase and then a siege happens, and then if that siege can actually end the game. If it's successful, the game's over, and the game could be 5 minutes. Okay.
Alternatively, ask us how we know.
Yeah, that's right. Alternatively, if you repel that attack, then the map resets and there's another loot phase. At that point, the loot gets upgraded. So in the first loot phase, you could only collect blue items. You can never get purple items or whatever. And the blue items are just slightly better versions of the one that you started with at the start. And so it's not like you can actually get any upgrades that are like, oh shit, this really changes how I can play now. This is an interesting weapon. Like, it's always the same. And then the next round, it's the same again, except now it's purple. It only becomes interesting when you get to the orange tier in like round 3, where the weapons get some fucking broken ass perks on them, and they just those weapons will melt people. Like, the weapon balance is all over the place as well in this game. It's just out of control. So that's another thing that makes that whole phase feel so pointless, because it's not like you have a chance of getting something that might actually change your play or like give you an advantage or whatever. It just feels like you're going through the motions, you know? So yeah, I agree. Like some mob enemies on the map, some boss enemies would be kind of cool. You kind of had to contest them. That's the other thing. Like, you can actually just spend all your time on your side of the map collecting shit. And there's so many boxes and so much crystal. You don't feel there's no contesting resources in that phase. So it's boring. It's just boring, man. All right. And I also think the siege phase isn't great, because I think all of the locations that you need to detonate are inside and protected by lots of walls and whatever. And that naturally forces that close quarter combat style of play in that phase, right? Like, you just basically have to always rush it with like a shotgun or an SMG. And I tried to use my ultimate as Slade when I was like defending a location from attack, and his ultimate like kind of rains magma from the sky, but we were all inside, and so my ultimate did nothing. And I was like, oh well, this would have been a really cool thing for me to be able to defend this spot and cover it in lava and whatever. And then I thought to myself, but hang on, all of the locations that I need to defend are inside, so there's never a circumstance where I could use that ult to like either attack or defend. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. And then in terms of pacing too, in terms of match pacing, you run into the issue where you would like to readjust your loadout to maybe adjust for close quarters combat, because you were wandering the plains with a sniper rifle. But because of breakneck pace at that point, you don't have time to do that. You have to get in there for the most part.
Yeah,
and just
generally.
Good luck. Like,
for sure.
But also, I despised almost every single alt. I found most of them extremely unsatisfying.
Oh my god, yes.
And that bummed me out.
That dagger one?
Did you play Mara?
She's the invisible lady?
No, she's the
this is a whole other problem.
2016 Symmetra with shields and teleporter.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I liked her, but isn't she? I think she's the only support character in the game, which feels a bit strange to launch with.
Yeah, her respawn point thing. That's actually
clutch, and the soul shield stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like when we were playing, the one most irritating character which every team very quickly had was Amara, providing that shield and the teleportation stuff. But otherwise, I mean,
John Highguards is essentially fly up in the sky, throw lightning bolts down. The Invisigirl one is throw daggers, which you gotta be accurate.
They do nothing, man. They
don't
do
a lot. They do not do a lot. And then the big guy who does the big AOE like blast, it like
Wolverine.
It's hit or miss. Yeah.
Oh, even in the tutorial, when I was stood in the middle of that room and it says use your ult to break 7 walls or something, and I did it, and it
I think it's just a frontal cone. I think it makes it feel like it's an AoE, but I actually think it's a frontal cone for that Wolverine dude. He's more like Sabretooth, but whatever.
Okay.
Sorry, Chris, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, I guess I just wonder. I don't want to like CEO cast this because like if one game has gotten too much CEO talk, it's this one. But as I say that, for any game like this, you need to know how much runway they have.
Yes.
Because that's the reality of these games. They take a long time to figure out. And we can go all the way back to like the very famous League of Legends review at GameSpot with like the 6 out of 10, which I think is a fair review of when it came out. Like that's what it was. We can look at Deadlock right now, right? Like these games take time.
Destiny was a 6 out of 10.
Yeah,
it was. It's since slid to a 4 out of 10.
But you have to have runway to like develop, I guess, any type of online games. Look at every MMO that is not WoW, right? Like, and I understand that that's different, but I guess the thing that I worry about with these games is it seems like this is the stuff that for the past 3 or 4 years was able to get funding. And yet it's also that system structure that I don't think is going to support these sorts of games long term.
But I think that like, okay, I agree with everything you're saying there, but I think the realities of the examples that you gave are like very different. Like, I don't think League of Legends launched into a 1.0. I don't even think we had the concepts of 1.0 back then, right? But it was clear that it was just like this little thing that was going to exist and then eventually evolve, right? That was very, very different. So, but then you look at Deadlock. Like, Deadlock is not officially out. You know what I mean? Like, it's in testing, and Valve has put like no marketing behind it whatsoever. They're just building it. You know what I mean? And so
I think that's the problem, though, is Deadlock doesn't have to be out because Valve could fund it forever. Or like Helldivers, which was funded forever before it came out and could have a lot of stuff where like this game had to ship, right? I'm sure that people were saying you're going to hit a deadline because you aren't owned by a mega company that's going to keep putting money into it. I don't know. That just seems like such a modern problem with video games is what is a 1.0 versus what is an alpha? Who can afford to be a 1.0? Who can afford to be an alpha forever?
Who's funding? I don't understand who's funded this game. Yeah, they've said they've got a couple of years of runway.
Yeah, I know. For people who live in 60 people who work in Los Angeles, they're in LA, right? Yeah.
I believe so.
Good question. Yeah. I agree with what you're saying. However, I think the reality is that when you put your game up in front of 100 million people and you say we're launching into 1.0, after that, it's on you. Like, it just is.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. 100%.
And I think like Jeff, and this is the thing, right? Jeff's getting the shit kicked out of him. And like, you know, I think Jeff was genuinely trying to help because everyone always shits on Jeff being like, he's charging so much money for the slots. He's a greedy asshole, whatever else. He's like, you know what? Here's what I'm going to fucking do. I'm going to give the best slot in the show to a game I just like, and I'm not going to charge them anything, right? And he didn't even tell people that he was doing that, by the way. Like, he wasn't looking for some kudos. He just did it because I think he just genuinely liked this game and wanted to help. So full credit to him for trying to do that. But the reality is that he just kind of has misjudged the readiness of this product and how good it is. And I think he has overhyped it. And, you know, people naturally get their backs up when that happened, you know. And so my coverage of this game was very much like, look, remove all that from the equation, remove all of that hype stuff. How would we be talking about this game? But also, I think, imagine that it didn't have the 1.0 label on it. Imagine if this studio came out and said, we're building something from the ground up. We're working with the community. We have a long way to go. Like, if they were couching it in different terms, we would be talking about it in very different terms here.
Absolutely.
But it's almost like we've just been kind of it feels industry planted, you know, and people naturally feel very hostile to things that feel industry planted. Even though it was kind of accidentally planted, it wasn't meant to be like this. It was meant to be shadow dropped. It was meant to have a lot less fanfare behind it. But Jeff wanted to help. And I think he doesn't know his own strength in inverted commas. Like, I don't think he realizes, maybe he didn't realize just how much influence he was going to be able to have on this thing. And
it's like the Hulk trying to pour some espresso. It's like, oh no,
Hulk. And so it's backfired spectacularly, which is a shame. So I think that's all just amplified these complaints. But at the same time, I do think these complaints are very legitimate in the sense that, like, yeah, this game has a real identity crisis at the core of it. It's trying to be this tactical shooter thing while also sort of looking like it should be much more casual. And it has very obvious things that it's like, well, of course there should be some more stuff to do in that middle phase. Like, why isn't there that at this point, you know? And
not to mention the surrounding stuff. Ranked isn't available. There's one mode. The progression, there's not too much to the progression. And then even the live service, like, you know, free to play stuff, like their battle pass is really, really simple.
Oh yeah.
Well, the tutorial as well. Did you?
Yeah, the
video.
skins are like, who cares?
The tutorial was you pop around this little map doing, I don't know, it feels like you could have just been in one room for everything. But then at the end it goes, okay, you've done this tutorial. Now watch this video to learn how to actually play the game. Basically.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to do that. I thought that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And even too there, like the tutorial, there's moments of the tutorial where you see the shopkeep guy and he's like, hello, and he's like all bubbly and he's got the little critter and an airship comes in behind you and the music swells and you're like, whoa, this feels like this might be like the beginning of this big experience, but then it never really
Music is good.
Yeah.
Music is like wildly over the top.
You guys like the visual style? Are you into the visuals?
I really like
for you.
I like the character designs a lot.
Yeah, you do? Okay.
I like the tree lady. You know, that one with the little...
You like the turbo horse?
I like...
Well,
the turbo horse is fun.
Didn't I?
Turbo horse is actually sick.
I immediately changed my turbo horse to a jaguar. So I have a big
changed
jaguar.
to the bear. Big bear guy.
I didn't even know
the
you
tree
could
lady
change,
who
so
has
there
the
you
little wisp things that come, because you heard me every time I played as her, and those little wisps would give me something. I go, "Ooh, what do you have for me today?" It gives you pretty good loot and stuff. These little things, and then
I think in my impressions, I kind of said visually, it feels like if Immortals of Avium had a multiplayer mode. You know, like there's something.
No, Immortals of Avium tried for photorealism. It was very colorful. But I mean, in terms of facial capture and
there's
everything.
a map that looks like Immortals of Avium. One of the maps in this game looks like Immortals of Avium.
Yeah. And so, by the way, again, I liked Immortals of Avium. Right? I actually liked that game. So, okay, I'm not a hater on that one. But my point is that, like, there's something generic about its rendition of fantasy. It just kind of lacks that thing that makes you want to look at more of it and go, oh, and just to sort of, it doesn't really sort of spark your imagination, and it just misses something, you know?
I just want to say, if you're driving right now, please park your car before you Google what is Immortals of Avium.
There's no way you remember it.
That's the safest thing to do.
That's true.
What if your hand was a gun? But it was magic.
What kind of magic does it shoot? Red.
Sometimes blue.
Sometimes blue, but also sometimes green.
The thing with the visual style is, for me, it's like, I think conceptually, I think it's cool, but I think maybe it's like execution doesn't quite land with me personally, because it feels like there's this underlying energy of kind of like a 2000s to like 2010s, like almost like Disney CGI animated thing. Like it's giving me like Treasure Planet energy, Titan AE energy, but like not quite there, because for me then, like when you see the characters, to me the characters just look like a Mythic Quest, like that's the game they're making, like just like the TV show game.
Did you say
I know that's like, I don't.
Did you say that? Did you say that in the before you buy?
No, I was
okay. Well, just to be clear on his quote, he said like this. We were playing it, and it's like this game feels like the game that the people at Mythic Quest would be making. Just like
it's
graphics card box characters, like when you buy a GPU in like 2008.
Oh yeah,
and there's a character on the box. That's this type of thing where it's like
Voodoo
they are
graphics
cool,
card,
but they're not something that you're actually going to like remember.
And I think that hurts.
Thinking back, what was so different about Overwatch? You know?
I don't know. Like, I'm not an artist. I don't have the tools to be able to really describe that. It's just that, like, immediately you look at Overwatch characters and you're like, fuck yeah, man. It's the same with League of Legends characters. Like, you look at Yasuo and you're like, dude, that dude is cool. I want to put him on my wall. Do you know what I mean? And you just can't. It's just not the same here. And I don't know why. I would love an artist to be able to explain it to us and give us the tool, give us the words. But I just know it doesn't quite work, you know. And Marvel Rivals, you look at that and you're like, oh, that's a cool rendition of these characters. It's the same with like comic book art, and you know there are certain covers that you look at and certain renditions of characters. Like, why is Alex Ross's art the way that it is. Like, how do you put that into words? It just is, man, you know?
Also, Overwatch was coming off a whole bunch of military sims, right? Like it's
as a response to
2016, yeah.
Yeah, we hadn't seen a lot of this.
True.
Where is Jeff Kaplan?
Isn't he like starting his own studio or some shit? Did he do that? I think he did, right?
I thought that was the rumor. I don't know.
Overwatch guy, right?
He was Jeff from the Overwatch team.
Yeah, from the Overwatch team. Maybe he just chilled, pieced out. Maybe I don't know. He just
be nice.
Either way, I think that look, I think, you know, very interesting to note the like collapse of the player base.
I was just looking at the Steam DB to see where we were at.
Because, you know, this is the sort of thing where you launch a game and you really want it to sort of pick up speed and whatever else. And, you know, this game launched to a peak of, you know, 97,000 players and then immediately just plummeted after that. And, you know, you might have had sort of the European contingent log on to help prop up that player base. They didn't seem to turn up at all. Now, at the time of we're recording, which is we're recording this on what is this? This is American Tuesday.
Tuesday, 7 p.m.
That's right. And it's at 18,000 players. And that's kind of sort of flatlined, you know, it's just not, there's no positive word of mouth. It's just general hostility to it. The reviews are improving for sure, because it definitely got a lot of review bombing at the start. But also, and I think one thing we haven't talked about at all yet is that it just runs like ass on PC. It's so bad on PC. I'm running a 5090 and I can't reliably get above 60 frames per second when I'm on like in the siege mode. And that's even if I put it on low settings. It's a 4K resolution, by the way. The DLSS stuff is complete bullshit. You can't even change the DLSS setting. You can't change the resolution scaling. There's all sorts of weird hidden stuff going on there where they're trying to mask the performance, but it's a whole thing. So again, people who give this a bad rating on Steam, some of them are going to be review bomb. Absolutely. I would never say that they're not, but a lot of them are giving it a negative review for legitimate reasons, either gameplay wise or in particular performance. Because for me, the performance was so bad that I actually don't want to play any more of it, because with a tactical shooter like this, it needs to work properly. Like, you need to maintain above 60 FPS. You can't have sudden drops down to 40 FPS when you're in a firefight like that. It doesn't work, you know?
At the very least, I'm glad I got into matches. I had no issues with matches.
Zero issues getting in.
Today, I played all day, and I had a much better. I did better. I just want to correct the record.
Hey, he posted a screenshot in our Discord.
If you look in our Discord, I put a screenshot of me doing well for proof.
I saw it.
So I actually had a better time when I was winning. Which happens with games.
Okay, now I can tell the story of last night. So we're all on Discord, and we had one final game. Took us the full 30 minutes. We were down to 5-5 each side, and we lost. And we're like, okay, guys, you know, Ralph's like, I'm going to go have my lunch. I said, yeah, I'm going to have dinner. And Ralph logs off. Boom. And Jake thought it was both of us. And Jake just went, fucking game. He thought that we both
I thought Lucy logged off. She left.
Oh, my God. Oh, that is great. That's like the real Jake shining through, because you're always like, you know, very even kill Jake, but you can always sense there's just a little something under the surface there, just simmering away.
You know, when you're on a deadline and then you just feel like you had so much time wasted playing the game and you didn't.
Time with friends is
that's
never
the nicest
time
thing
wasted.
that anybody said about the game. Like, getting that reaction, anything that makes you have that strong of a reaction. I think that's a compliment in a way.
No,
in a way.
No.
In its own way.
Depends on, like, fucking game can mean, like, I felt that way playing Silksong a lot of the time, but then I come out of it thinking, God damn, man, that was one of the greatest games I've ever played in my fucking life. And then, you know what I mean? Like, and then you come out of it playing Highguard and you're like, oh man, I really don't want to log into this game ever again. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's different.
That's true. That's true.
For me though, with my Before You Buy video I did on Game Ranks, I did point out, like, hey, I had some fun. Like, I can't lie and just lean into the narrative that people have about this game. Like, I had some matches where I had some genuine fun with my buddies. But it's only specific points of the game that elicit that. And I think that they need to lean into that, the thrill of the chase and stuff like that.
I totally agree. I mean, in my coverage, I sort of wrote that it feels like this game works in fits and starts. And but also I feel like the idea of it being this tactical Valorant-esque shooter thing, I actually don't think, I would love to see this just kind of embrace the Halo a bit more, like embrace tower defense, embrace.
It's basically Blood Gulch. The maps are all Blood Gulch in their own weird
absolutely.
way.
And it's just like, if you could make that like Halo meets kind of MOBA-esque, thing, and then add the siege mode onto it, like that would be sick, man. I would be down for that. There's nothing like that. That would be interesting. That would be fun. But also it would let me play it in like a 5-stack of not 5-stack, sorry, like a 5v5 match made, because right now it just feels like unless you're stacking your team here, like going in with a pre-made, it just feels like you're wasting your time, because coordination is so important, and you just get really trucked by teams who are coordinating properly. So I would love to see this kind of more casual fight, I guess you could say. But I don't know if that's the intention of the developer. It feels like they're trying to make a really sweaty, competitive PvP game. And so trying to suggest that it should be like the opposite of that just doesn't really... But like, just look at this thing, though. Yeah. Like, does this really look like it should be this super tense, competitive experience? I don't think so.
Like where you're doing that corner, you're doing pre-aiming and shit?
Like,
no, thanks. No way.
It feels like it should be Overwatch-esque and Marvel Rivals-esque, and it should be like it should have a layer that invites us to play, like casual players, people who enjoy competitive experiences but aren't super like hardcore about them. That kind of like Halo thing, that Battlefield thing, the Marvel Rivals and Overwatch thing, like that level where you can add a super competitive layer on top of it if you wanted to, because the depth is there, but the floor is in a better place. The floor is more inviting. It's a larger floor. I would love to see it go in that direction, because honestly, I would play it. I like some of the elements of this. I truly do. I just there's just so many things that aren't ready to go yet. Like it should not have had the spotlight that it did, and it should not have been released when it
cooler
was.
Guns, first of all. Even like when you get the legendary or rare tier gun, like they're still not that exciting as it's still an SMG or an AK or whatever. Like more spice there.
Yeah. So what are your predictions? Like let's do a round of predictions on this, right? So there's obviously discourse. What do you reckon happens? Do you reckon is it getting shut down in 2 weeks? Is it gonna settle in for the long haul and they're gonna do 2 years of updates and it ends up being a completely different thing? Or what are your predictions?
I would like to see them take on feedback and just gradually change it until it gets to a place where people feel comfortable hopping in. That's the thing, it's like Overwatch 1 at launch was, it was still really fucking fun.
It was.
But it was, it wasn't the experience that I come to think of when it comes. Like, I don't think Overwatch in my mind immediately goes to 5 Winstons, 1 Lucio, because that was the meta at the very beginning, right? It's none of that. It's what eventually Overwatch became. And so my hope with Highguard, as with all these games, is that in spite of a rocky launch, it finds an audience and a community who's willing to stick with it to help shape it into something that will be better. And that's when more people get involved based on word of mouth. However, we live in times where that is not a luxury afforded to every game, regardless of who made it, regardless of the pedigree of the developer, regardless of who's funding it. And so that's the thing I can only say is that I hope it does. I hope the tide changes on it, because I don't want shit to fail. People worked hard on it. And despite all the issues that we had while we were playing, at certain points we were having fun. And I think if there's a little spark of fun, it could ignite into something bigger. Okay. All right. I realized that I was going down like metaphor alley, and I decided that I didn't want to go fully commit. But
we're
you know
all
what I mean?
John Highguard.
I don't. We're all John Highguard. I don't want being a Concord to be a badge that is given to games now. I don't want this to be.
Yeah.
The games industry is in enough trouble as it is. I hope that this is not something that we can just sit out and anticipate for big releases, especially when they're trying new shit. Like, they didn't want to keep working on Titanfall and Apex. Well, they're not working on Titanfall, but no one's working on Titanfall. Then don't want to be working on Apex forever.
Yeah.
I can understand developers leaving a studio, particularly one is Respawn, and taking their expertise and setting up something that they own and they have more control over. Meandering thoughts. It's
Chris?
sad.
It has a path. It has a path in that it's not Concord. It is While it borrows a lot from other games, you could call it generic in that way, it is its own thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a thing out there that it's competing against. So there will be some players who will really click with it and they'll stick around. So I don't know how big that player base will be, but it'll have it for a while and it can get that feedback. And then I think it also has the path of like every game has that shot around 5 or 6 months where the public mood changes around it, right? And it's like, oh wow, it made a comeback. People love a comeback story in like the gaming discourse. So between having some foundation of players and then again, if it has the funds, being able to like have that comeback moment, it could do it. Like I think we'll know a lot more about this game by July, August of either way it's gonna go. But like I don't think that it's not going to concord, right? Like it's not. I hate even using that as a verb, but like, there's no world I think in which this a month from now is offline.
No, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I think obviously they've got a different funding model, and yeah, I totally agree with that as well. I mean, at the same time, I'm also reminded of something like Fragpunk, right? Do you guys remember Fragpunk?
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yep, of course, Fragpunk. If you haven't heard of it before, I'm not surprised because, it's just a sort of team shoot-up thing that was really cool, actually, and really novel and had like creative. This whole kind of very creative, had this kind of player card system thing, and it was really embracing some like old school design trends with regards to first-person shooters and whatever else. Launched to like 113,000 concurrent players. Within like 2 weeks, that was down to like 10,000. And about a year and a half later now, it's sitting at around about 1,000 players playing it right now, and so, I mean, it's a long shot, man. The problem is that, and we've sort of talked about this in the past, that like video games aren't movies in the sense that like video games, you can keep playing them and they keep getting better. Fortnite keeps getting better. Valorant keeps getting better. All these options keep getting better. And then, so, these new entrants have to compete with all of that incumbency of audience, all of the features that they've added, all of that stuff, and they need to burst onto the scene and try and snatch some market share. And it can be done because look at Marvel Rivals and, look at Arc Raiders and all this sort of stuff. But it's far more common to see Splitgate, in its current situation, and Supervive, who took a swing at the MOBA thing, and New World, who took a swing at the MOBA MMORPG thing, and as we talked about, Fragpunk, who took a shot at the hero shooter thing. Like it's a much more common outcome. I'm also reminded of like Amazon's Crucible. Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So again, like a game that was kind of launched too early because it was trying to seize on a moment, and it just never went anywhere, and they shut it down actually a couple of months after that as a result of how little support it was getting. So there are a lot of stories like that, unfortunately. I hope it doesn't. I mean, obviously I've seen lots of people dogpile on this game. I've seen like tweets saying that anyone involved in the promotion of it should be sent to The Hague. And, sure, that's a funny tweet. I get it. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I agree with Lucy. This is a team. They're working hard. It'd be nice if they're successful. But it's just way too early to judge right now. And I think ultimately, though, like what I'm saying to my audience, and I don't know how you would position it to your audience, is like, I don't think you need to check this out right now. I think that there could be some cool stuff in the future that may be worth tuning in for, but right now I just think it's very far from what it needs to be. So you can just sort of sit it out and then hope that it gets there one day.
Yeah, well said. I think I'm like a horse girl, because I always just come back to
nice.
The one key memorable element for me is the horse stuff and the thrill of the chase. So for me, that leads me to really genuinely feel like, ooh, I want to see what this game is like 6 months from now, a year from now. And yeah, to Ralph, with what you said too, for me, it's not good enough in the world where like so many games and so many multiplayer games are killing themselves for your time. I think there's too many caveats here, at least right now. But very different. I still feel it's very different than something like Crucible or Concord, because I think there are some redeeming ideas and sticking points. So we'll see.
Jake, you're still wearing that jacket, and I just want you to end the segment by like jumping into the air with a chainsaw and just cleaving the game right in half,
Yeah,
and being
that's
like,
right.
"We gotta see what's inside this game."
Looks like school's out for the winter, or like whatever. You say.
No lunch for you.
No lunch. It's incredibly warm. It's like made out of plastic. It's awful.
I mean, respectfully, it does look like it's made out of plastic.
Thank you.
It does.
Thank you.
How much did you spend on it?
This was like $80 something
Plus
on
shipping?
an Instagram ad, like a Chinese jacket.
Bro.
And it was like, be like Leon. It was served to me. And I was like, duh. I bought it. I was like, this will make for a fun goof, or I'll look awesome. I do not look awesome at all. The photo made it look cool. Like I was like, I'm going to look just like Leon when this shows up. It showed up after like 3 weeks and I look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Hey, at least I tried.
You did.
Male fashion. Let's wrap this up and jump to another word from our sponsor, and then we'll be back with more talking.
This video is brought to you by Raycon. We have been sponsored by Raycon for quite a while. Actually, I think kind of from the start of the channel, we really appreciate their support. They help us do what we do. And we also like their stuff. Their latest offering is the Essential Open Earbuds. And these are really nice. They look very different. You'll see they're not an in-ear earbud. They're actually meant to sit on the outside of it, which I'll show you, like here. If I can like put it on easily without my other earbud getting, my earphones getting out of the way. But they kind of sit like on the side of the ear like that over the top. And that's great because, I'll take them off. When you're exercising, they're very comfortable and you don't have like sweat in your ear and the sweat builds up and it all feels manky or whatever. These let your ears breathe a lot more and they still sound fantastic. And so as a result, they've kind of been like a permanent fixture in my gym bag and my tennis bag when I'm playing or running or whatever else. So I've really appreciated them. I found they've definitely been a big upgrade for me as I've like thought about using audio while I'm exercising. I don't know about you guys. How have you found them?
Definitely same. Especially with the fact that they kind of sit gently over your ear means you kind of get a natural pass through, where regular earbuds, you know, they cover your ear and then you rely on active noise cancellation. That's great. But here it's a bit more natural. You can hear things, and I wear them when I'm outside. With this winter, I was just shoveling snow and I had them in my ear, listening to some music, some podcasts, the Friends Per Second podcast, actually.
Listening to yourself.
Listen
to yourself, Jake, huh? Is that how it is?
Insane. No. But listening to stuff and shoveling and being aware of my surroundings in this harsh winter. And not only that, it was snowing and they got wet and it was fine. Nice and durable.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I've realized that working out makes you feel good, and I have been making a more concerted effort to do that. I've been doing a lot more Pilates and strength training, and just having these in so I can listen to my workouts like through my phone or through my laptop, because hey, there's multi-point connectivity, which is pretty great. It's been really nice. Like I can listen to music and listen to my instructions, and at the same time, I can llisten to what is happening around me.
Yeah.
And so, I've become a gym bro.
Also, don't forget the handy dandy little charging carrying case, fits right in your pocket. 8-hour life on the earbuds with the 36-hour charging case. It's great.
That's a lot. That's a lot. You're not gonna exercise for 36 hours, are you, Jake or Lucy?
You don't know that.
I hope not.
No, can't even stay awake for 8 hours at this point.
If you want to grab a pair, it's very easy to do so. You can go to buyraycon.com/friendsopen to get 15% off your purchase. That's buyraycon.com/friendsopen for 15% off. A big thank you to Raycon for sponsoring the video, and let's get back to it.
And we're back, and we're going to kick in with a user question. This question, which you can submit to questions@friendspersecond.com. What?
Nope.
That's not it?
No.
Come on, what is it? Contact
wow. Man, for real. You had it for so many weeks in a row. You had it. And now you've lost it again.
You were doing so great.
Oh,
this is the one time I didn't put it in the sheet.
So you can send us questions at contact@friendspersecond.com. We appreciate those questions. We also have a Substack if you want to check it out. But this question comes from Sal, who says, when reviewing a game and you get stuck, as there's no guide online yet, what do you do next?
Friends per second Discord, baby.
Jump off a bridge.
Yeah.
The friends of friends per second Discord. Like, well, what do we do? We're stuck.
Oh yeah, Chris. Wait. Now you've been on the show. It means you get added to this
the friends of friends per second
Discord, which
That's
is
right.
basically.
Oh, and I can get pro gamer tips.
You can get pro
Absolutely,
gamer tips.
yeah.
It's mostly like, hey, is anyone going to LA for the event?
Yeah, that's right. Without listing
Or it's a
anything
bad
specific,
signal.
because we don't want to like break embargo or some shit.
Yeah.
So
It's a bad signal though for someone being like, "Hey, did anyone beat this guy from this
Yeah.
game?" And then
Yeah.
someone else will jump in and be like, "You need to use the orange weapon."
That's right.
That's good.
Yeah, no, I think that's really it. Because sometimes you can. So sometimes, like a bit of inside baseball stuff is that publishers will sometimes send you like a review guide, and the review guide will have like, you know, sometimes it can have some really detailed stuff in there. Like
Mhm.
one review guide that I was sent was basically like a walkthrough of the entire game, being like,
Which is
yeah,
too
if you-
much.
which is too much, but also for this specific game, which I won't say what it was actually very helpful because it was a very obtuse game.
Oh, I know what
And
game. Yeah.
you know what game I'm talking about, right? And it was like, okay, I didn't get stuck like that, but I understood while someone might, you know.
One of you messaged me. What game that was? What are you talking about?
Jake, you can message her now.
Yeah.
But so
Peggle.
Peggle, that's
I'll
right.
say it out loud.
And so sometimes they do that, and the review. Sometimes they can actually just give you some subtle hints. Like instead of giving you a full walkthrough of the game, the guide will have like 10 bullet points, being like, if you get stuck on this part, just do this or whatever. Like they know what the pain points are and they help you get over it. Sometimes you can also email the developer or the publisher directly and be like,
Yeah.
yo, I'm fucking stuck. And they're like, oh, no worries, man, just do this.
Yeah, because sometimes there's
I've
also
had
the
to do that
concern that it could
before.
be a bug or a progression
Yes.
bug where you're like,
Alan
I don't
Wake
know what's
2,
going
baby.
on here.
Alan Wake 2, where like the game was just busted during the review period and you couldn't fucking finish it, and then they had to be like, we're working on it.
Oh, I
Same was-
forgot about
yeah.
that. Mine worked fine for Alan Wake. I've had instances where it's like I've known the developer who's working on it, and I got really stuck on something. And if it's typically when it's a smaller team, I'm just like, hey, can you help me? I don't know who to ask. I don't know who's up to this point. But I try and avoid doing that. Obviously, most of the time, it's only if I'm like really stuck.
Yeah.
I just messaged my boy Miyazaki and be like, hey man, I'm stuck on this boss. Can I do the share play thing with you? And can you beat it
Can
for
you
me? And
walk
I just like,
through it?
that's right. Just can you do that for me? And he's like, yeah, man, of course. Good to hear from you, by the way. How you doing? Like, we just catch
Yeah,
up.
how's
The weird thing is you
Nice.
always message Hayao Miyazaki. And you are like,
and he's like, how
why
many
do you
times
do
do I
that?
need to fucking tell you?
He puts down a cigarette. He's like, God damn it.
Not this shit
This is
again.
fun
On
to
your
like
face.
Swamps
yourself.
again.
No, I mean,
For
mostly
me-
like it's also sometimes just like brute force, like banging your head against the wall. Really,
Yeah.
Especially if no one you know is playing it.
That's
Yeah.
that's definitely it. For me with video game difficulty, yeah, it's get extremely angry, walk away. You know, do like with any game, it's like you walk away and you know, oh, if I come back and play it tomorrow morning, probably have a better shot at it. I do that a lot. That's like my
Mhm.
big ritual. But for me, the big issue is puzzles. I have often hit massive roadblocks and puzzles of games, and I've messaged you both and been like, "Am I stupid or what?"
Resident Evil F
Silent
puzzle
Hill.
box. Sorry, Resident Evil F.
Silent Hill puzzle box.
So what I do is I have my wife Amanda. I'm like, hey, come here. You got to look at this. Like, what am I stupid? And then she usually ends up helping me figure it out. But every once in a while, we both get stuck. And Silent Hill F, that puzzle box,
Oh my
because
god.
it's 3 tiers. The first 2 tiers follow the same rules. The third tier breaks its own rules. And
well, the
we were
third
completely
tier is
stuck.
the cherry blossom leaves.
Yeah.
And the
yeah.
thing is that I guess for a Japanese audience, you would be so much more familiar with what
Yeah.
cherry blossom leaves look like. For me, and for Jake and Amanda, we were just like,
And me.
I don't fucking know. Anything that looks like a flower petal, I'm just gonna brute force that one.
Did I tell the story
yeah.
on the podcast of the physical thing they sent me?
No.
Oh, I know the thing
So-
you're talking about.
So they reached out and they were like, hey, we want to send you something. And I was like, okay, fine. Like, I love it. Maybe I would love a Silent Hill t-shirt. That would be nice. Why not? It's not going to influence I don't care. Give me a t-shirt. They sent a box and I was like, what the hell is this? And I open up the box and it is a physical, real version of the wooden puzzle box
No
issue
way.
They
puzzle that
mocked you.
I struggled with. And Amanda and I were both like, ah! And then we couldn't get it open. We couldn't get the real physical box open. We're both like two monkeys slapping this box.
I would have cried because I would have been like, not this again. Please, no. Why are you
Please.
doing this? I
That's
can't
how
do
it
this
felt.
again.
It's
That's
the
how
real
it felt. It was
psychological
insane.
torment.
It is.
Kurt at work at GameSpot, he's survival horror sicko. He's played Silent Hill F 6 times. So when he'd already finished the game, I think twice by the time I got to the puzzle box. And it wasn't that one that I got stuck on. I got stuck on the lamp lowering one. And Kurt at that point was so familiar with the puzzle. He was like, I was like, shut. No, okay.
Crazy, man.
Okay, game facts, but thank you. I just needed that. So yeah, it's... Although, did you have this in your Resident Evil preview, Jake? You couldn't find like the door to the garage.
Where the like construction was going on?
Yes. So
I found it.
So the thing is that I didn't find it, and I was getting stuck. We only had a limited amount of time to play Resident Evil, and I knew there was a place that I hadn't been to, but I couldn't figure out how to get there. And I, asked the representative from Capcom, and he was like, "You're the fourth person today who's not found this, so I think we might have to like feed this back up to the team." It's just because like it's a key card door that doesn't populate on the map, or like didn't populate on the map.
That's right. It didn't show on the map. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Hey, I feel like I know what I'm doing here, but at the same time, I feel like an idiot. Please help me." And so, yeah. Sometimes you just gotta ask.
But when you can't ask, just try again. It's the definition of insanity, right? Just keep doing it over and over again.
Sure is.
Well, Sal, thanks for the question. Next up, we got to talk about the things we've been playing this week. I don't want to go first. I'm nervous. Chris, what do you got?
Yeah.
I've been playing Perfect Tide Station to Station obsessively. Honestly, I actually played this a while ago, but I want to talk about it because the embargo is up. But it is an adventure game in the lightest sense. You don't have to be doing like puzzles like you used to have to do in point-and-click adventures. There's very little of that. And it is set in basically Manhattan in 2003, and you are playing the perspective of a freshman at an NYU type place. And it really resonated with me as someone who moved to New York in 2004 as a freshman and went to NYU. Basically lived a lot of the beats of the story of this game. But also I just like it because it's a memoir. And I like that we're seeing more of these experimentations. In this case, it's author and comic illustrator Meredith Gran. But I think we're seeing these in a lot of different places now, where the memoir game is really coming back in a way that I don't think it has been around for maybe like a decade. I really think Gamergate, honestly, did a real number on memoir games. And I think that we're finally starting to see them come back in a real way.
I would agree. I mean, just thinking of a run, I think Consume Me, Despalote, Perfect Tides, they're all kind of tapping into this very specific slice of life that is very relatable in some ways in each story. And I started playing Perfect Tides on your recommendation, and I didn't grow up in America, but when I went to university, I sure did go to my friends at a town an hour away, sleep on their couch every weekend, party. We had no money, so God, no, we can't afford to go to Affleck's Palace for breakfast. We're going to have to scrounge up some money and go to Tesco and, God, cook something. And then, all these moments of just like the insecurity that the character has too about talking to other people. And, she has these friends, but they're transient friends. Like she's not really she doesn't even know what their surname is, but she needs the name to get to a party. It was just like, even the opening, I felt, I wasn't in New York or even America, but I could relate to these characters. And yeah.
The weirdest thing about it, and this is like not a case for other people to play it, and it is why it really connected with me, is every place is a real place. Like there is a diner that you go to that is Basilica, a Ukrainian restaurant on 2nd Avenue. There's a movie theater right next to it that is the old Yiddish theater that became a movie theater. There is a raised subway line that you go to that is covered in grass that eventually got repurposed into the High Line 2 years after this game is set. Every single thing. There's a band that you come across that is like clearly Wilco. Everything. Some of them are like explicit, like it's like I went and saw the movie Phone Booth or X versus Sever, and then other things are not. But whether or not you know those points of reference, I think it's such a brilliant decision to go with them because they feel so true. So you don't have to know all of this, but because of that specificity, it feels so unique. You go into a bar and they've covered the wall in these bottle caps to like make art. And it's like, wow, what a strange, interesting choice. Oh, well, that's actually a bar 2 blocks south of Washington Square Park. But like, you don't need to know that to enjoy it. The other thing that I will say is, I don't want to spoil any of this game. There is a decision that this game does to get around music licensing that is one of the coolest things I've seen an indie developer do to pull something off that they simply cannot afford to do. And I won't say more about it. You will know it when you see it. I think it'll spread soon. I think you'll start to see people putting on YouTube. But yes, it's great.
Oh, man. I'm really curious now.
Yeah, I'm going to get back to that after we finish recording tonight.
Oh, how long is it?
Maybe 8-9 hours tops. Like it not super long. It's a little longer than the first one, and also you do not have to have played the first one to get it. In fact, like I would say if you haven't played the first one, I would play this one to start with and then go back and play the first one because it's just a little bit tougher of a on-ramp. It is a game made by a first-time developer who is influenced by adventure games, and I think has learned to like stop doing those things.
It looks like a good Steam Deck game. Cool. All right, good. Next up, I want to do something totally left field. I played a Halo arcade game, Halo Fireteam Raven.
Yeah.
I was at a place that just had this big Halo arcade thing. And so this is a actual like 343 developed thing. And it's crazy. You're essentially ODST soldiers in like a light gun turret style game. And it's like high fidelity, production value is crazy. And it was kind of fun. I don't really have a lot to say about it other than that was like a unique video game experience I had this week. And what's cool to see that it did is that like the Halo universe, I guess, has never really done this with like the games, but you're going through the Pillar of Autumn like right before the events of the first Halo, and you're these ODST soldiers like shooting your way through the ship, and then suddenly you'll get like one of the, you know, like the light gun game cutscenes where it's like don't shoot, and it like, you know, on the screen, and then like a cutscene kind of happens, so you're playing and Master Chief suddenly like butts in like a hero, and he grabs a brute and throws him and shoots 2 guys, and you're like, that's the Master Chief, it's so cool. So it really succeeded with that. It was cool to see that go down. It just was like a nice, weird arcade experience.
So did you finish it in inverted commas?
No, I didn't finish it.
So
I had
how much did you drop on it?
Yeah, how much you spend?
Probably it was like one of those places where you have to like put money onto a digital card first, and then so I had probably spent $10 on a card.
Okay.
And then swipe,
and then you empty the cards
twice. Pretty much, yeah.
And then like how long were you playing for in total?
I beat 2 full levels. That probably took me
4 minutes.
10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. There's like pacing too. Like there's like different sequences mid mission. Like you're on the Pillar of Autumn and you're defending it, and then it'll cut to like you getting into a turret and having a Star Wars turret sequence where you're shooting down banshees and stuff. It was actually really impressive. So I'm just saying, if you're ever at like a random movie theater or a laundromat or whatever, and you see a big old weird Halo arcade booth, go check it out, because Fireteam Raven.
Cool collector's item to have. Like if you had like, I don't know, you live on some property somewhere which just have like endless space and you could just accumulate stuff, and you just buy an old unit and keep it there in like 20 years time, you know, that'd be fucking sick.
I would love to do that. That'd be really cool. This is technically old. It felt new. I was like, is this new? It's not. It came out. I just looked it up. It's 2018.
Yeah, it's quite old. Because I actually think it was in Australia for a while. Like I remember seeing some units around. I never played it myself, but I did see them. That was a while ago. So yeah.
I was just surprised how not half-assed or phoned in it was.
Yeah,
That was
a
cool.
weird little project for them. I don't know why they did it, but it's cool though. It's nice. Yeah.
Lucy, we should probably talk about the big one.
Are you asking me
big
to
one?
say it because you don't know how to say the word?
Yes.
God, I know you so well. But also, I've been struggling with this every single time. Cairn.
Cairn?
Cairn.
Cairn.
Cairn. C-A-I-R-N.
A cairn, as I found out because I googled, is the little pile of rocks that people leave, climbers leave around.
That's right.
It's a real Pam situation.
It's a real
really
what?
What? Nothing. Forget it.
Nailed it.
Thank you, Chris. So Cairn is the climbing game.
Yes.
If you saw it, a trailer.
wait.
I believe it was revealed at
SGF,
Summer
I think,
Game
a couple of
Fest?
years ago.
Couple
Yeah.
of years ago now.
Can I use my fun joke that I wrote in the Discord?
Absolutely.
Cairn, race to the quap.
Okay.
Because
That's
it's like
funny for
quap.
us who knows what it is, but for the audience
Okay.
who has no idea what this game is, you should have told that joke after you explained what the game is. It would have hit so
You
much
said
harder.
I'd be a good 1930s headline writer, Ralph.
I
I'm
didn't
going for
say
the headlines.
Okay.
You
okay.
guys fill out the body of work, okay?
Okay.
It's a climbing game where you control each limb individually. You play as a famous climber named Ava. She's a little bit older. She has inspired a lot of people. She's very famous, very dedicated in what she does. But there's the one thing that she has never bested is Mount Kami. And so this is the story of her pushing really everything in her life aside, her partner, her agent, her responsibilities back down on earth, so to speak. And it is, quite an emotional game, but at the same time manages to be just quap level ridiculousness with limbs akimbo and going every which way. Beautiful music, and I know I enjoyed it a lot. I know Chris, you've also played it. Jake, you played it. What are your vibes?
Love it. I just like climbing games. I guess this weird satisfaction, but so it's a little janky. Like sometimes you'll see her limbs kind of contort in a way that doesn't make sense, or she'll clip through a wall. But there are moments where when you're in a good rhythm, you genuinely really feel the accomplishment of climbing. You understand like, oh, I need to chalk my hands, or, oh, if my foot goes here, it's not going to work. I should probably put my foot here. And the way sometimes she animates it really successfully feels like because like I like climbing stuff. Like I've watched like free climbers and stuff like Alex Honnold. Like you get that here. And then there is a story, you'll come across the very occasional cutscene, but it's also one of those games where it's like the story is you along the way and like what you encounter and what you deal with. And I would definitely recommend it to very specific type of people. One of those people is somebody who loved Death Stranding 1 and the real adversity. And when you would get in those desperate struggles where you're
100%,
your feet, your shoes are worn out and you're like dying and you're so close and you got one package left. Like it's got a lot of moments like that. Like you're really struggling. You're battling against your equipment, the environment, and having a ton of bad luck. But when you get there by the skin of your teeth, it feels so good.
It is so funny you said that because it'll be up now, but I made a feature for Gamespot called Cairn is a Strand game. Because it just is, in a lot of ways, a Strand game, despite not having any online multiplayer functionality. But I liked it a lot. I think it's very it doesn't beat you over the head with things. I think it has a very deft touch when it comes to letting you fill in the emotion of what the character is going through. And I felt as I was playing, I was putting a lot of myself in her. And like sometimes when I get overwhelmed, I don't respond to messages or something. And so I am just climbing to the top. I am just putting one foot in front of the other, which was an unexpected thing because I really felt like I couldn't relate to anyone who actually enjoyed climbing because that just doesn't appeal to me in any which way. But I think it's a really well-made game, and I had a really good time with it. To your point about it becoming very, as you're getting into the flow state of climbing, I was editing my video earlier, and I was watching back the footage, and I was like, man, I just want to I want to be doing that again, because it felt really good, especially when you're at the point where you're belaying off the side of the wall, you plot your route out, you can kind of take a little step back out, well, not a step back, but you can zoom the camera out a little bit to plot up where you're going to go. And so there's a sort of puzzle element to it that reminded me of when you played Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, and you couldn't just climb on every wall yet because Assassin's Creed games still had friction back then. You could only climb on predetermined routes that would make it easy for you. And that's how I feel about Cairn, is that I'm not just I can climb up anything, but it's gonna suck. And so I'm taking the time and being rewarded for it, which felt very gratifying.
Yeah.
Lovely music too.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying lovely music.
Yeah, low key, but done really well. The climbing too, it's very interesting because it does a really good job of like, you're desperately looking for a handhold, and it's like most of the time, if like you think that's gonna work, like you kind of understand how the human body works, and you're like, I think that works if I could climb like that. The game generally goes with you on that. There were some times where I struggled, where she looked like I had her at a position that was perfectly safe and perfectly fine, and she started instantly losing grip. And I'm like, no, what did I do wrong? Like, no, this looks like a normal, safe grip. Every once in a while, like you kind of miss that, but it kind of helps increase the panic that you need sometimes, where you're like, oh shit, gotta find a better handhold. So there was a really good give and take, and I found it pretty challenging, especially, like really challenging. And then it kind of clicked with me that I need to really use my tools more. I was conserving stuff a lot for like,
I think it legit helps to learn a little bit about how bouldering and climbing, like free climbing, works before playing the game. Not like a ton, but just like a little, because I think you look at most climbing in video games, right? And it's the hand up in front of the other, like you're basically climbing a ladder. And if you do that in this game, you will run into those moments where your feet are going to be just dangling off of an edge, where what it wants you to do is actually wedge yourself at weird angles, where if your body could be wholly horizontal, and you're actually quite safe if you are really wedged in between two nooks. And that's just not how you climb in most video games, but it is how you climb when you're using physics in real life. And that's what I enjoyed about it, is I felt like I was kind of learning by doing about this hobby, which I think is great. I also, it's perfect timing for this game. Have any of you read The Score yet? I'm going to sound like a parody of myself.
No.
So there's this new book out called The Score. It's by C.T. Nguyen, and it is incredible. Like, it is my favorite book about the idea of games and how we incorporate games in our lives. And so long, it is kind of the anti-gamification book. It is about how we apply scores and it makes our lives actively worse, and we apply metrics and it makes our lives actively worse. But then when we have those same things in games, we really like them. And one of the recurring things that book keeps coming back to is the author's love of climbing, and how the pleasure of climbing is the feeling, the motion, right? Like it's the actual, just the pure movement of it. And I thought this game did an amazing job of that, where you can fall, and again, kind of like Death Stranding 1, where you'll lose a half hour, and that's not a big deal if you enjoy the feel of the game. For you, that's like another half hour you get to have climbing a rock. But if you are the sort of person who plays a game and what you want to do is like get to the end, I could see this game being extremely frustrating. So I think it is a game that literally plays to the type of person who would like this hobby, even if they don't do it in real life.
100%. Totally agree. I think what's also really good about that whole climbing thing too is it simulates you starting from the bottom and climbing up an entire mountain. It's broken up by cutscenes and things here and there, but after you finish the game, you're able to go and look back, because the whole game, while you're climbing, you can pause and pan out, you can look back at your path, but at the end of the game, you can then reload and follow your whole path. Like you can do free camera following your path with all the data and all the death points and all the climbing points and all the anchor points all the way up, and you realize like, wow, this game walked me through climbing up an entire mountain in 12-13 hours. And that's just really cool. I like that a lot.
My favorite part about the beginning of this game is I put probably 45 minutes in and got to like a really high point. I was like, wow, I'm doing great. And then it showed me that like I had just finished the tutorial.
You're like, that's not
times. And then also, even then, when I got to a really high point, I was like, wow, I can't believe I finally made it up this wall. That was so difficult. And then I looked to my left and there was a walking path all the way down to like where I had started. And I was like, oh no. Like that was, I didn't need to do any of it.
It's the thing that got for me was when I discovered that I was throwing myself at this cliff face over and over again. And then I checked the zoom out, but I had a map of the area. And it was, hey, here's an easy route, here's a medium route, and here's a hard route. And I just been throwing myself at the hard route the whole time without realizing what I was doing. And I was like, yes. Well, that's fine.
You know what?
It's a great game.
I think it did a really good job at like, I've grown cynical sometimes to games that will be like, oh, also we made up like a fun little ancient civilization. And it's like, okay, cool. But I think the way they handle it here was really, really interesting. And I genuinely wanted to learn more about them. Also, picking up so many letters and remnants of hikers, like fallen hikers. You know, you've played adventure games where there are people who have fallen on the adventure before you. But like the way they wrote these little hand notes, like left behind by hikers and explorers, they were all just really good, really well written and interesting. They all had like good little takeaways. So the game really handled the small stuff really well.
I am super excited.
I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, I've had it in my inbox for ages, but I have been starting the year slowly, traveled a bit, and then kind of just had to do some admin-y stuff. Played Silksong, which we'll talk about in a second, and then obviously had to do Highguard this week. And so this was next cab off the rank for me, and I'm really pumped because everyone I've spoken to says it's just wonderful, and some people have already said that it's like on their game of the year shortlist. Obviously, it's early in the year, but they don't mean. They basically mean that this has kind of the makings of the sort of game that appears on their list, you know, at the end of the year. So that's not.
I agree with that sentiment totally, and it feels good. I love starting the year. Like last year, I feel like every year that happens, like that first game you play, and you're like, "Ooh, that's a good one," and I'm gonna think about that for the whole year. Like last year, it was like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and there was one smaller game too.
I played 5 games already this year that could easily be like that, right? Like it's such a bonkers start.
What are those 5 games? Just for anyone listening.
I would prefer not to break embargo. I will say Perfect Tide Station to Station is like for me. Actually, there's another game that there are 2 games competing for number 1 with a bullet that both of them, had they come out last year, would have been my 1 and 2.
Okay.
And one of them is Perfect Tide Station to Station. And the other one would have been my number 1 last year. Easy.
And it's embargoed.
Easy. And it's extremely embargoed.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Cool.
And also, I can say this, I don't think anybody would even guess what it is. It's that embargoed. It's not like something that you're going to hear about very soon.
Okay.
Wait, message me. I'm interested.
Oh, I will.
Nice.
Don't worry.
You tell us. I want to know what that is.
Thank you.
Teasing us good, leaving us with something for next time. All right. Well, with that, Lucy, you had one other game, didn't you?
No, Perfect Tides. Ralph, as I assume, has finished Silksong though. Did you finally get out of?
I finished
twice.
Twice.
Wow. So tell us more. Have you collected any additional thoughts about Act 3 since your original takes?
Yes. So, Chris, did you play Silksong, by the way? No. That face.
No. See, the problem there is you assume that I was good at video games, which I think we said earlier I am, in fact, very bad at things.
Chris is like me. I like Chris.
I like Jake.
Silksong. So, I can't remember having done this as an adult, but as soon as I finished Silksong, I immediately booted up and played through the entire thing again. Right? That's just not a thing that I do in general, and it's also not a thing I have the luxury of doing in my profession, as it were, because like you don't have time for that. You just have to be like, cool, that's done. Let's move on to the next thing. But like as soon as I finished it, I was like, oh, I have to play this again right away. Wow. And so my first playthrough was kind of like 100% playthrough, and it was like 95% or whatever, and it was 70-ish hours. And my second playthrough was like not quite 100%. I skipped some of the really superfluous bullshit and whatever else, but like I did most of what I did in that first playthrough, and I did it in 25 hours. And that's purely down to like the learning and the mechanical skill that you get from playing this game, and just like how much better you are at it. There are some absolutely devastatingly challenging gauntlets and platforming sections that you stumble on for hours in the first time playthrough, and the second time you literally one-shot it. Like one of those encounters that I was complaining about in like Act 3, the Coral Tower, which is just like a 4 times gauntlet of just like waves of enemies, and if you ever fuck up at any point, you got to go right back to the beginning. Wiped on that for hours, and literally just did that first time on this second playthrough. Wow. Right? So that's nothing to do with like me being a skilled gamer or whatever. It's because the game trains you over time to like just become good and to understand it. And it's about mechanical skill. Having said that, that was still extremely agonizing to get through that and to get to that level of proficiency where you could make that happen. And so I have like some broader, more complicated thoughts about like Act 3 and where it sits relative to the rest of the game. And I don't think it's great personally. It's kind of like a bit of a victory lap in a way, and it just really amps that challenge up to a level that I think is just designed to just like finish off players, basically. It's like, all right, if you are still here, let's see if you can handle this. And it does finish off too many players. Like, as I said, only 20% of players have actually finished this game. And I don't think that's quite right. But having been on the other side of it, I'm like, okay, cool, I did it. But still, Act 2 for me is just perfection. Like playing through Acts 1 and 2 of this game, you've seen, I think, the best parts of it. I think you've seen the best encounters, the best locations, certainly the best music. You've really... You can walk away from the end of Act 2 pretty satisfied with yourself if you've gotten through it, because it's still very challenging, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I mean, I think just in summary, I would say the concept of like, and this is an interesting idea, right? Has any game, I'll put it this way. I think Silksong is actually one of my favorite games that I've ever played, right? And I really felt like that list was locked down after like Mass Effect or some shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we go through these periods in our lives where like, because I can love the Outer Wilds and be like, I think it's the best game ever made. I think it's incredible. It's extraordinary. It's impossible, yada, yada. But it's like one of my favorite games, like that kind of like formative thing where I want to like play it and play it again and again and again. And just like, not quite, you know, same with like Nier Automata. It's so beautiful and incredible. And same with Clair Obscur. But like, I think when you experience things when you're older, you kind of can't internalize them and make them a part of you in that same way, and they don't become like your favorite thing. Mm-hmm. So I felt like that list was fully locked down for me with like Metal Gear and Ocarina and World of Warcraft and Mass Effect and like Baldur's Gate and 001 and whatever, that era where like your brain is still forming. And it's the same we have with like movies or whatever, you know, like X, Y, and Z movies from when you were like 16 years old. I was like, that's it, right? But Silksong actually is like broken through for me and being like, no, wow, I've actually added a game to my favorite games list. And
I have a theory about this. If you'll humor me,
of course,
and why I think it might have gotten into your life like this, why it snuck in, is you're right. Like when you're young, it's like music, right? The music that you listen to in high school and college is your music, but you still have opportunities for it to like latch on to a moment in your life. They're just fewer and fewer. And like, I think Nier Automata is one of my favorite games. It's also when my wife and I were going through a miscarriage, and like I put myself into that game. Not like I like saw the story and connection. It was just there for me. Perfect Tides, I played it over Christmas break. I never get to play a game just for myself, let alone one that is like so personally connected to me. It's clearly latched on to me. I think about like the lives that we live, and especially you play so much stuff. To be able to have a game that you can sink yourself into and bash your head against it and then go back and play it again, I would guess that like that is something that you just don't get very often or give yourself, and that it takes you back to a time before all of this, right? So like once you did accept that, I wonder if that, I don't know, it's giving you something that you don't get to have very often. Again, I apologize to like armchair you.
No. I think it's like, I think it's a good point. I think definitely the fact that I played this off review cycle helps, because I think that, you know, I look at like the VGC review where they like scored it 3 out of like 5 or whatever, and they called it like sadistic or whatever. And I'm just like, I think if you set a deadline for yourself and you have to play through this, I can understand how you get to that point. I don't think that's the right way to frame it. And I think it sells the game short in many aspects. But yeah, I did play this off embargo, and I just get to play through it at my own pace. And maybe I won't make a video about it. Maybe I will. I don't know. But either way, that was just like, I'm just going to play this thing. And that definitely changes my relationship to it. You're going to just sit back and enjoy it more. Absolutely. But I would also say I've played other games off embargo. In fact, in certainly more recently, I do that more often these days, I think, because I put less time pressure on myself. But even then, I just simply do not feel the desire to want to just immediately replay something. And so separate from that ability to play it at my own pace, there was something really special about this that just made me go, no, you've just got to do this right. You know, you've stumbled your way through it, and now it's time to show, like, now it's time to see how much you've truly learned. And then that was just such a wonderful experience to play through it again. And yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe I think also I would say this, like, there's a theory of fun, you know, and the theory of fun is that, like, it's learning applied. And I think, you know, playing through a Metroidvania, there's many metrics for that learning to be, there's many sort of ways that learning can be applied, because you can know where the upgrades are and you can beeline for them, and you can know all of the boss moves and how to dodge them, and you can know the sort of the depths of the mechanics of, you know, Hornet and how she controls and how to make use of her. So there are so many ways that you can take that learning and apply them. And I'm not sure that as many games have that same ability to let you do that. Like with God of War Ragnarok, for example, you know, there's not that much to learn in that game. Like, sure, the combat can become more challenging at higher difficulties and whatever else, but it's just not quite the same. It's a linear path and you go through that story and whatever else. And yeah, but these sorts of experiences really give you the chance to show what you've learned. And I think that is a crucial aspect of fun. And I had a tremendous amount of fun doing that. So yeah, I don't know.
Well said.
I'm not sure if I'll do a video or not.
Let me ask you, because you had started this saying that Act 3 wasn't your favorite, but Act 3 is the last act. Am I correct? So when you finished the entire game, when you finished Act 3 and you finished the end, like,
yes,
how did you feel in that first moment?
I honestly just felt the entirety that I was playing through Act 3. This is the truth, actually. The entirety I was playing Act 3, I was actually just excited to restart the game so I could experience Acts 1 and 2 again. That's the truth, right? Because Act 3, I don't think, as I said, and I won't get into the detail now, but I don't think it's truly additive to the experience. It's just like a really hard, sort of crushing set of bosses and some annoying stuff that I didn't love, right? But I just was so excited to get through it so that I could do Acts 1 and 2 again. And so when I finished the game, I was so pumped to just immediately create a new save file and get back in there and do it again. Yeah.
Right. And then that comes back to what you were saying before, applying
your
learning.
Like,
not even applying, but also, is it to a point, is it like reveling in your learning and
definitely,
just like really
I think
enjoying it?
I think some of it has to be that, because you really just feel like you are like super powered at that point. Like, you know, we talk about Metroidvanias as being like, oh, you have the boots and you can do the double jump now. But there is, in your really great Metroidvanias, they're also about understanding, you know, the essence of the game and its core mechanics. And you can understand, you have that muscle memory and that understanding from the minute you start in the beginning of the game when you're playing it from the second time, you know? And so bosses that seem really difficult, like Savage Beastfly, anyone who has played it would know what I mean by that. You look back on that boss the second time, you don't really have any new the upgrades or anything like that, but you just understand how this game works. And that boss is not remotely challenging at that point because you get it, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I think as well, it makes me reflect so much on difficulty discourse, because like, this game should have some sort of easy mode. Purely because I just want people to experience it. And it's like, I don't think that everyone needs to experience Elden Ring, for example, because it's like really dark and broody. No, but it's dark and broody, and it's kind of just like, it's this thing where it's like not everyone is going to like have a connection to that sort of style of like visuals and the kind of the grossness and the grotesqueness, and it's dark and like just the themes when the song play. There's a vibe to it that not everyone is going to be able to connect with, right? But with Silksong, it has this kind of all ages thing, right? It has this all ages, all groups appeal, where it has this cartoonish style that should just reach out to a larger cross section of people. And on that basis, you kind of want to be able to say to your friend who, I don't know, doesn't play too many games and whatever, like you want to be able to say to them, try this thing. It's actually really lovely. And there's an easy mode. You'll be able to play through it. It's great. But the music is incredible. The art is incredible. Some of the boss design and the intricacy of the world is incredible. But you just can't recommend it to anyone who's not ready for the level of punishment that it is going to dish out to you. And what's fascinating about this is that there was an interview with the developers years ago where they talked about the fact that they kind of like want to make it hard, because if there's an easy mode that you could turn on, you could just like turn it on and then you wouldn't need to talk about it online. And the discussion online is part of the game's marketing strategy, because when it's hard, as a little indie team, they needed to make their game hard so that people would go online and talk about how hard it is, and they need help and they need to look up guides and that all thing. So that I'd never once considered difficulty as an extension of marketing.
It's the modern version of quarters at an arcade machine. Like, I can't believe that. You know, like you design difficulty to suck up money. It's different,
to
right?
suck up
it's
impressions. Yeah, just in SEO.
But like
attention.
Yeah. That's it. I think it's a parallel. I agree with you. It's sort of, and look, and that's not the only reason they designed it difficult. Don't get me wrong. Like, they're also artists and they believe in this game design or whatever else. But one thing they did say in that interview was that the difficulty and not having an easy mode forces people to have that discussion online and share their experiences and find solutions and whatever else. And I get it. It makes sense. It's true. But at the same time, it just like my heart genuinely aches that I can't recommend this to my friends and to so many people I know and be like, because all of you have not played it. You all love video games. All of you like live for video games. And I'm telling you right now, this is one of the greatest games ever made. That's not even like, that's a fact. I will fight anyone who disagrees, right? But I can't recommend it to you because you guys have decided that it's just too hard and there's no path forward for you. There could be if you really... That's the thing, is that
I haven't decided that it's too hard. It's funny that you said people wouldn't be attracted to Elden Ring because it's so grotesque in certain things. I've just never been attracted to Hollow Knight because I actually don't think the art style is kind of grotesque enough. Like, I don't particularly like that art style. And I never clicked with Hollow Knight when I first tried it. Like I said last episode, because I wasn't as literate with games, and I feel like if I approached it now, I could probably, hey, I got the platinum in Elden Ring. All right, yeah, I know a little something about perseverance, but at the same time, I wonder if I missed the boat. And this is, I'm at this point, we're about to hit February, and I don't have the luxury of just hopping into it, which sucks. And so it's like, wow, first world problem stuff, but it's. I appreciate you saying that you want to recommend it to people, but you are cognizant of the fact that you can't. I think that is a very key thing, because part of what frustrates me about online discourse these days is that even if it is the best game in the world, bemoaning and punishing other people for not playing it is like the most frustrating thing. It's like oh my God, you haven't seen the Matrix of conversation that I just hate. And so I like that you're taking this nuanced take on, hey, here's why I love this game, but here's why I know it's not going to be for everyone.
Yes.
And that's fine to upset you. It's fine to have big feelings. Sorry to talk to you like a child there. It's okay.
I'm used to it, Lucy. I'm used to it. It's fine. Sorry, Chris, it looks like you're going to say something.
Oh, I was just going to say that I think it's also because of the aesthetic that people maybe feel this way of like, I just need to share it. And that if I don't play EVE Online, people aren't surprised. If I don't play the new Civ, maybe a few people are upset. There's like certain games where there's more expectation to play it. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was kind of like somewhere in the middle, right? And then this is like well, it's a Metroidvania. I want you to share it. Souls-likes have they've become this in the same way, and I know that they're different, but there's weirdly different expectations depending on the game of, well, I need you to play it. I really want you to play it. And
I think
I'm okay. Like, I played quite a bit of it. I don't know, I probably played like 5 hours of it and I enjoyed it. But like at the end of the day, I'm also just not a Metroidvania person.
Right.
So that's the other part that bounced off. But I do know what you mean. I am the person who would have played more if it had any difficulty settings whatsoever.
Yeah.
I am the person that you're talking about.
I know two friends of mine who just swore off this game completely, and they're like, I tried it, fucking hated the difficulty, I pieced out, I fuck this game, it's annoying. And it's like, and the argument that can be made about it is, oh, you can go and explore and you can do other things and you can become more powerful in other ways. And it's like, that's only true to a point. And I would actually say, for example, like Elden Ring offers a much broader approach to difficulty. Like, you can really cheese the fuck out of some shit in Elden Ring if you wanted to. Like, just some overpowered stuff that lets you just press one button, and that's, you know what I mean? And magic and all sorts of stuff, right? There's nothing like that in Silksong. You can become marginally more powerful, but at the end of the day, you still have to properly play. Like, you cannot cheese this game in any way, shape, or form. There's like a little bit of bullshit, but like not too much. Anyway, point is, this is like, we talk about Souls-likes being difficult, and that's true. Elden Ring, I think, offered the reason that Elden Ring is so easy to recommend is because it does actually offer you many paths through. And I think as a result, many people picked up that game that didn't play these games before, and it became this phenomenon. And, you know, and you personally just can recommend it to people with confidence and know that they're going to find some way through it. Whereas with this one, I don't know that people are going to find a way through like the High Halls Quallet or like the Coral Tower in Act 3 or fucking Blightwater. Jesus Christ. Like, I just don't know that they're going to get through these parts unless they're really up for the punishment, you know? And again, it breaks my heart because I really wish I would love to be able to just say to anyone, hey, please go and do this. But yeah, but hey, listen, it's still sold like 7 million copies, so it's not like no one's playing it. Like, it's still
Team Cherry's doing
okay.
fine.
Team Cherry is doing a-okay, right?
Yeah.
This is about me and my pain. Okay, it's not about Team Cherry's pain. It's about my pain. So, yeah.
My friends, I have to run to go
my
do
God.
parent duty.
How
Before
rude.
I do,
No,
I did want to show one thing to
Oh,
Jake
yes,
because I
please
promised
do.
Jake that I would show him something. This. Do you see what this is?
Is that what?
Resident Evil 7. And you're like, what would come in this little box? What
Cigar.
could possibly
Cigarettes?
come in this little box?
Is it a cigar?
A finger. Is it a finger?
Oh, it's a severed
is.
finger. The like
Nice.
weird
I was
puppet finger.
joking.
Nice.
Finger key.
Yes.
Oh, are there
It's a
assets
USB,
on that bad
so people
boy?
cannot see it. I do not keep pretty much any pieces of swag, but two that I've kept is this, and I also kept the brass knuckle mug that Rockstar sent out.
Classic.
Deeply illegal.
A deeply illegal.
Do not
blast
send this
they sent
across
to
state
everyone.
lines mug. Yeah, pride and joys. You
Nice.
know, you
Excellent.
take what you can get in this industry.
That's cool.
Well, Chris, before you go, we'd love to know where the people can find you.
Oh, yeah. They can find me at Post Games. That's post.games. Or you can just find me on like literally any podcast platform, whatever you prefer. I'm also on Patreon at patreon.com/postgames. You want to go to that because you get bonus segments every week. Or you can find me at The Besties, which is, I mean, if you've been looking for a show,
Here we go.
and this is a
we
pretty
go.
bold
This is
idea. What if I told you it is 4 white men
Whoa.
who are old
Whoa.
who talk about video games?
Oh my God, please. Like,
You had me at old.
I know.
like the Vince McMahon gift right here, you know?
Yeah, it is a delightful show. It is a
Cosign. It's the
if
only one I regularly listen to. You got the Lucy James
Well,
endorsement.
if you like the host of this show and you're like, you know what, they go a little too deep. I want something a little bit more just chill surface. Let me tell you, have I got the show for you?
Excellent.
There we go.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, Chris.
Very
thank
good to have
you.
you. Thank you very much. And all the best.
I'll see y'all
you
later.
again.
We are back with our last segment, Show and Tell, something that we've been engaging with, enjoying that is not video games. Ralph, what do you got for us this week?
Not too much. I actually rewatched Avatar 2 in preparation for watching the third. Still haven't watched the third, by the way. I feel like Avatar 2 actually holds up much better than Avatar 1 does. There's some cool emotional stuff in there that I really enjoyed. It's not just like a technical showcase. So I was quite into it. So I was like, yeah, okay, cool. You know what? Actually, I didn't mention this before. My friend and I are watching the Nolan filmography, and we started with his first film, The Following.
Oh yeah, that's the only one I haven't seen.
I don't think I've seen it.
So it's the one that no one's seen. It's like it's like a little art house kind of film where he basically, it's a story of someone who starts following people around just because he likes doing that. Like not to stalk them, just because he likes following them, and he eventually falls in with this thief and he starts like robbing houses and stuff. It's kind of strange, and it's very amateur in a way. Like it's got some cool ideas, but it's him at the very, very beginning of his filmmaking career. It's like the first proper film that he made. And so of course it's going to be a bit amateurish, but it's still cool. And it's still got like a little twist at the end that's very Nolan-esque. You know, he loves that sort of stuff. It's got some time jumping stuff. Again, very Nolan-esque. Like it has all of the blueprint stuff that you can kind of sense that's his fingerprints. But seeing what it is and then seeing Memento after that, you're like, dude, what happened? Like, how did you...
Wow, he went from that to Memento?
How did you make that jump? Like, it's just insanity. Because Memento is obviously just... We rewatched that as well. And we also rewatched Insomnia.
Dude, I love Insomnia.
Ooh, yeah, I like Insomnia a lot.
Man.
Insomnia is super underrated. The feeling of like being tired and not being able to sleep is the worst feeling in the world. And that movie kind of just captures it, where like you don't really think about the events of that movie. You actually just think about the feeling of being tired. The feeling of that movie is actually what comes through strongest. And that actually is a pretty big achievement, I think, for him to have done that. But also like Al Pacino in the lead and, you know, Robin Williams in there. Like this is a guy, like this is Nolan's third film or whatever, you know, so he goes from this little art house thing to, you know, Guy Pearce making Memento, just this incredible banger. And then he somehow signs Robin Williams and Al Pacino as the leads in his film. And it's also incredible. Like just what a run, man. It was crazy. So, yeah, really interesting to watch through that. We're skipping the Batmans because we've watched them recently. We're going to watch The Prestige again.
Oh, soon. I was just about to say, when are you watching The Prestige? That's my favorite.
I love The Prestige. It's great. And then after that, we get to Interstellar, which I firmly believe is his Nolan's best work, man. I'll fight anyone on that. It's incredible. I know everyone has their view on it.
Lucy's like I like Interstellar a lot.
No, man. It's incredible. Every time I watch it,
I got enough shit for saying I didn't like Project Hail Mary. I'm gonna steer clear of Interstellar.
No. You've got backers. You've got backers. A lot of other people are like Interstellar sucks, but nah, man.
I don't think it sucks. I just think, you know what? It's fine. I don't think anything. Sure. Similar water.
So that is
getting ready for the Odyssey.
I think kind of the run up to the Odyssey. Wait, Travis Scott is in the Odyssey?
Yeah.
Fuck off, is he?
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Him and Nolan are like best friends. He did that song for Tenet.
No way.
Yeah, really? He did a song for Tenet, and that was the start of it. And now he's like, I'm going to put you in my movie.
That's how he sounds, is it? Okay.
Mr. Travis, you're a nice young fella.
Ooh, William Lee's in it.
There's a lot of people in it. I'm really excited for that.
Wei Shen from Sleeping Dogs, please, guys.
Okay,
you've got to remember the classics.
I don't know, man. I'm reserving judgment. The trailer, like you look at Oppenheimer and you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be good, man. Let's go. Whereas this one, I'm like, I don't know about this one. Not sure.
I'm excited to see Nolan take on monsters and myth because I don't know. Like the Odyssey is just a cool story. I grew up loving it. And he's like a weird pick for it. And a lot of people are applying weird Nolan things to this thing that is the Odyssey, and it's totally different. So I'm curious to see how the hell it's going to come out. But there's talk of them using some practical elements to monsters, like the Cyclops. And I would like to see that very much.
Go full Harryhausen.
We're going to use a Matt Damon puppet, I hear.
Yeah. Stop motion animated little Matt Damon too.
Yep.
Lucy, what do you got?
I finished reading The Husbands, which I talked about last time, which I really enjoyed. And I devoured again Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett, which is the second in that series of sort of like a Sherlock Holmes, but in a world where we have manipulated flora and used them as sort of tinctures and grafts to improve human beings. Read the second one. I actually liked it a lot more than the first. I liked the first one a lot, but the second one just feels a bit tighter. The world feels more rounded out because you're in a new part of the world, but it wasn't really covered in the first book. And then I'm about to start, so I've got a couple. I really want to start the Joe Abercrombie ones that I talked about, the Law series, but my local bookstore never has them in stock. So I don't want to go on Amazon. I'm going to go, there's like a website called bookstore.org, I think, that kind of connects you with local bookstores. So I'm going to do that and kind of get back to the community around me a little bit rather than putting money in Bezos's pocket. The only other thing I did is because last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever we recorded, I mentioned that I should probably get a Steam curator page. I made one. So
nice.
follow me.
Is it Lucy James Games?
It's Lucy James Games.
Okay, cool, great.
So I'm slowly populating that with stuff that I'm looking forward to for the year, stuff that I'm playing. Now that Cairn is out, I can finally post my Cairn review on there. So yeah,
I like this. That's cool. New endeavor for Lucy James.
I like it. I think it's a good fit because I think your tastes and your shout outs, your picks, always, they always resonate. Like on the podcast, people really appreciate them, and I think people would be really into that, to be honest.
Yeah, I've been going through and wish listing a lot of stuff, so I want to organize some thoughts. And yeah, to what Chris was saying earlier, there's it's a weird phase where there's a lot of cool stuff coming out, or embargoes are releasing in this very specific window of stuff that I'm very interested in. So yeah, please be excited.
Yep.
That's me. Jake, what you been doing?
You mentioned Sherlock Holmes before. Do you guys remember that show? It was a cartoon, Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd Century.
Nope.
No?
Was that a fever dream? Did I imagine that?
Dude,
okay,
I thought you were about to start Sherlock discourse, and with all the stuff the last Stranger Things episode, I was like, I can't do it again.
This was a cartoon. This was an animated cartoon that was, what if Sherlock Holmes got frozen.
First of all, I just clicked on it. Wow.
Yeah, what if Sherlock Holmes got flash frozen into Blade Runner future and he got thawed out like Stallone?
Cool.
Yeah, and then also what if Watson was there, but it was just Watson's head on a big robot body and he followed him around and helped him.
Excellent.
So it was real. I didn't imagine that.
Wow.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, it's something.
I was about to say, I didn't want to cut into your thing, but I forgot. But just because this image reminds me so much of it, I saw the JoJo, I saw the Art of Manga exhibit at the De Young Museum here in San Francisco. But I only went for the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure stuff. And seeing some of the pages that Araki has drawn was incredible.
That's cool.
Was so enamored by it. And it was a really cool exhibit. And I think it was just awesome that the De Young gave the whole basement, which is a huge, huge space, to this amazing exhibit of manga artists. And Junji Ito was actually there the day that we went, and he was giving a talk, but it had obviously been massively sold out.
Holy shit, that's awesome. That would have been crazy to see that.
I will say though, there was only one Junji Ito piece in the entire exhibit, and I was like, Also, I felt like they could have had a bit more from other artists. There was no Toriyama, there was no Miura, and so it felt like certain very cherry picked, but I was taken care of because JoJo was there. A lot of One Piece, which is one that I've never delved into. I feel like if I delve into One Piece, that's a cry for help because it's 1,000 issues at this point.
Too many.
Yeah, doesn't sound like a good idea.
I don't have that kind of time. But from what I hear,
says the woman who's read 8 books already in the
you're killing a book a week
of January.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah. Well,
impressive.
Got certain books that I'm focusing on. Sadly, I'm falling behind on my manga.
I only like books with pictures in it. I've been reading a lot of comic books. So we had a big old snowstorm. We had over a foot of snow. So it was kind of just a good excuse to stay inside and read by the fire. So I am caught up on the new Ultimate Spider-Man.
Excellent.
Which ultimately started with a really good hook and then just kind of fell back into the big old, new universe thing with the Maker doing all his meddling. But I like the whole initial run up.
It was
I like
really
the
good.
older Peter Parker, you know.
It was great.
It's cool.
Yeah, I liked it.
And then I also caught up on Absolute Batman, which is really good. And I think the conclusion of the whole Bane arc, I've already hyped it up before, but like I think it's just a really good, interesting, weird new Bane story. And then other than that, I actually went back and I had a lot of comic books that I didn't bag and board.
Yeah.
So I
did
spent
that
like a
too.
whole day just doing that, and it was very fun and very therapeutic. I got to show you that I got a lot of old RoboCop comics.
Oh my God, I want them.
Yeah, I
must
have a lot
have
of RoboCop and Indiana Jones ones. Weird enough that I just like
Hell
discovered
yeah.
I had.
That's
Yeah,
great.
so
I love my
just
old
did stuff
Star
like
Wars
that.
comics, like the old Dark Horse Star Wars comics.
Oh man, the covers were also all beautiful.
So good. The covers
So
are fucking awesome. They're like
Yeah.
poster worthy, those covers, man. It's just incredible.
Yeah, every once in a while too, like they still have cool covers. Like every once in a while, I'll like see one at the comic book store and just buy one. Like there was one a couple weeks ago, the new like run with like Luke Skywalker's adventures, and it's him like a boulder is kind of crushing him, and he's like desperately reaching out, and you see his lightsaber in the foreground, and it just looks so cool. It was like next time on, you know.
Yeah.
Comic book cover art is a hell of a thing. But yeah, that's all I've really been doing. I've been keeping it simple, just that and climbing virtual mountains. But I think that's a good time to wrap it up. We climbed a virtual mountain with this podcast.
2.5 hours, baby.
2.5 hours.
Again,
2.5 hours.
one.
Talking
That's
about
us.
Silksong and Highguard.
Yeah, shout out to
Resident
Highguard.
Evil
And Resident. We talked about it.
and Perfect
Yeah, we did.
Tides. Yeah, we did.
Well, with that, folks, thank you very much for listening. We would appreciate it if you rated us on your favorite podcast platform, maybe your iTunes, your Spotify, what have you. It does go a long way, and it helps keep the show topped up as one of the top video game podcasts. We appreciate you guys helping us get there. It's pretty cool.
We really do.
No,
Thank
we
you.
really do.
Starting strong for 2026.
Yeah.
I'm Jake Baldino. You can find me places at Jake Baldino. Ralph.
Chill up right here, baby. Right here, right now. All right.
And I'm Lucy. You can find me at GameSpot and now on Steam. Lucy James. Games.
Yeah, nice.
I love that. That's like an additional sticker on your packaging. Now on Steam.
Yeah.
Well, folks, thank you very much for listening. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Tie your shoes and go to bed.